You're good. Can you Photoshop?
Photoshop? I can't help you there, man.
I gotta say that because of Mike.
Marty's cat sitting in the back, just having a good old time. There you go.
Pictures coming through pretty good. You guys are looking good. Looking spiffy. Why didn't you wear Daniel Defense stuff? You did. You were Arc'teryx. There you go. Get that Arc'teryx shit off there.
That armor is fast, man. I'm not wearing these fancy polos.
I was cold.
Is it cold in the thing?
I don't care.
We gotta tell Bill he's lazy not coming on here.
Oh, he's an asshole for not coming on.
What was the reason again?
Christmas party. Using that excuse. Like he can't get on his phone at the Christmas party and just say, hey, a little bit.
I mean, it's hard when you have to be Santa.
That's a good one.
I thought that was pretty good.
Dude, I got to start like a dad joke podcast,
Oh, God.
A dad joke podcast?
Dude, I have been laying them down over here.
No. You've been laying them on thick for 2 days.
Apparently, there's something wrong with your email address. I'm not getting it right, or you gave it to me wrong or something, Nate. That's just me not being able to type right 2 times in a row. I spelled Bressler wrong the first time, and I spelled Daniel wrong the second time.
We'll see if we can find a way to make it like pictures for you, Marty.
I'm telling you, man, if you don't make it kindergarten level, then I'm not going to get it.
What do they call it? Barney level?
Barney style?
Or Barney style, there you go.
Barney style?
Yeah.
Put it to music so I can remember it.
Little ditty.
Jackwgons, you got your Jackwgons all lined up?
Yeah, I think so.
I like it.
And I'm going to talk about old Ghislaine Maxwell and her trial and all the
coincidental
events that have partaken.
Yeah. Oh, there was a shooting here in Tennessee. School shooting like yesterday or something.
I didn't hear about that one.
I didn't either.
It's around Memphis. I mean, that's a shocker.
That's what says it around Memphis.
I say it wasn't that one about the child custody where the dude smokes the guy on his front porch, was it?
Oh my God, was that real? I thought that was fake.
No, that was real.
I thought it was fake too. So that's new news to this guy.
Okay,
wow.
Well, let's talk about all this. Is all good stuff we need to be talking about. Let's get this show started. You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
I'm ready, man.
You ready to do this?
Yeah.
All right, lead heads. We are back with another episode of the Talking Lead Podcast. The only podcast that I know of with that name. Have you guys ever heard of another one?
Nope.
Not yet.
Maybe Talking Lead. There might be a Talking Lead one out there. But we get called that sometimes. Got a great show lined up for you lead heads. If you've been watching the social medias, you know who our guest is this week. We've got Daniel Defense, Jason, and Nate joining us. Gentlemen, welcome in.
Appreciate you having us, Marty.
Same.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you guys taking the time to be on, and I'm excited to talk about the trip that Bill Doe and I made up there to do a tour of the factory. Appreciate you guys arranging that and setting that up. We're going to talk about that on this episode and other things, too. We got a lot to talk about. So if you haven't had an opportunity, make sure you go back to last week's episode and check it out. I'm trying to remember who it was. I believe it was Flatline Fiber Co. was last week, was our latest podcast. So go check that out. We were talking about their new dump pouch. They've made some innovations to the dump pouch that you probably haven't ever seen before. And Chad with Flatline talks about that, their slings, their ear pro covers, and they've got some new things coming out that they're working on too that he hinted and alluded to. And he dropped a discount code for you lead heads, so make sure you go to Flatline Fiber Co., use the code LEADHEAD. You're going to get 10% off. Anything there, even if it's on sale, you get 10% off. And they were running a smoking deal on those dump pouches. If you caught it in time, he had them marked down like, $10, and then you got an additional 10% off if you use that code. And like everybody this time of year, there's Black Friday, end-of-year deals going on in codes. So he's probably got one floating around that might even be better than that 10% off. I don't know, but you can definitely count on that 10% off code. So go check him out. Let him know how much you appreciate him being on the show and those awesome giveaways that he did. He doubled the prizes last week, where we were going to give away a pouch and a sling to 2 listeners, but he ended up giving a pouch and a sling both to 2 listeners. So that was pretty cool. So good on Chad. He's a good dude. Check him out, Flatline Fiber Co. And then, of course, we got, before that, we had the AK Corner. That was our 11th episode. We've got one more coming up, and that's going to be dropping this month on the 15th. And from the guests that I've been talking to and trying to get lined up for you, I don't think you're going to be disappointed in the season finale of season 3 of the Talking Lead AK Corner. Some big names. I don't want to give them away right now, but you guys are going to enjoy it. It's going to be fun, and of course, we're going to have some awesome giveaways on the season finale. And speaking of giveaways, Nate and Jason, you guys have lined up an awesome giveaway for the listeners this episode. Talk about that.
Yeah, so our marketing team got with us and they said, hey, this is a pretty cool opportunity. So they're going to draw, however you want to do it, Marty, but one lucky listener is going to get a $250 gift card to the DanielDefenseStore.com apparel site. We've got some new outer garments coming out that we're getting a little pricey. So we said, well, if you want it, you can get it if you're the winner here. So pretty cool little giveaway from that. And it's all digital. So
that's awesome.
Just send an email and get it to you.
All right. We're going to do that toward the end of the show when we start doing listener questions. Because as you know, in order to be eligible for our giveaways, you got to participate with this podcast. And we posted a Instagram post, Facebook post, asking for your questions for our guests like we normally do. And those are the people that we choose our winners from. So if you're listening to this and you didn't take part and you're like, hey, how come I don't get an opportunity? Well, that's why. You got to participate to win. And I even did a little thing that I don't always do on Instagram. I did an Instagram Live a little bit before we started recording just to remind everybody to go post those questions. Because I did post it late. I'm normally late in posting that, and I apologize, but you guys know it's coming, so you got to be on the lookout for it when that hits every week. And then also, speaking of giveaways, we've got our holiday giveaway that we're doing. An awesome holiday giveaway that we're doing with IWI. We're giving away a Galil Ace. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, nice.
Very nice.
Right. And it's a 8-inch, so it's a Galil Ace pistol, and it's got an SB tactical brace on it. Something else, I don't know, but then we've got a whole accoutrement of other companies that have joined in with us that are just going to make your Galil even better. Lockdown, they're giving away, I can't remember what, they got a puck, one of these things for your safe, a little security system. It monitors your humidity, your heat, motion detection, like if somebody's trying to break in or bang it, it sends you notifications to your phone. It does a whole lot of other stuff too. One of their hideaway shelves, you've seen those furniture where you can hide guns and stuff throughout your house? They've got a shelf that they're going to be giving away, and there's an AR-15 magazine holder that goes in your safe, an organizer, so you can put your mags in it, and a trigger lock. So if you want to be even extra safe and secure, they're going to provide a trigger lock for that Galil. And then Seal1, seal1.com, Seal1 and Done, they're going to have one of their awesome variety packs. It's going to have a little bit of all their products in it. Actually, it's going to be a lot of all their products. Full size. They're going to have cleaning patches, the brush, the whole thing, so that you guys can get your Galil nice and clean and protected. This is an excellent product to prevent corrosion for your firearms. So Seal1, Mission First Tactical really went above and beyond. They're going to be providing 5 magazines, 5 of their AR-15 magazines, custom magazines. Did you guys see the picture on the Gleam site? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen it.
I have not.
Nate, you got to enter, son.
I'm sorry.
You're eligible. You can win. But we did ugly Christmas sweater designs on 4 of them, and we did an American flag and the Israeli flag on one. So pretty cool for the magazines. They're going to do a bag, one of their tactical bags. It's like a 3-day bag. I can't remember what they call it, but I've got one over there, so the smaller size of it. What else are they going to give? Something else. Magazines, bag. I think they're going to do a dump tray. There was something else. Anyway, you're getting a bunch of shit from Mission First Tactical also. They're always going in above and beyond. And then Enforce is putting up one of their weapon lights. I think I got the box here for that. Yeah, right here. So Enforce, it's their Gen 2 weapon light. These things are badass. I've got one running on my ODS 1775 right now, and I'm loving it. And, of course, Flightline, Fiberco. That's the other one. They're going to be throwing in one of those awesome dump pouches and a sling. So, awesome prize package going to one winner. You go to my Instagram, up in the bio, there's a link you can click on to enter that. And I can't remember how many you get just through the normal process, but you get a bunch of entries. The more likes you do, the more entries you get. And then there's a link you can share and get friends to sign up. And then for each one that signs up, I think you get an extra like 150 or 250, I don't know what it is, entries. And you've got till the end of December to go and get as many as you can. So now's the time to do it. And it'll be a great new year for somebody, definitely. So
I'm doing on social media the next couple of days.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. But go and do that, lead heads. Before you forget, don't put it off. Get that link going and working for you. And, I mean, that's what we do here. We give away stuff. We like to reward our listeners at Talking Lead. There's no other podcast that gives back to their listeners more than Talking Lead, and Talking Lead sponsors and friends of the show like Daniel Defense. $250 gift card up for grabs this episode. So let's get into it. Let's do the show. You know what I hear? I'm hearing that Talking Lead jackwagon train rolling in. So Gunny, bring that train in.
Hoorah, Semper Fi, do or die, hold 'em high at 8th and I. It is time for the Talking Lead Jackwagon of the Week, so brace yourself, baby.
All right, the train has stationed, and we've got some jackwagons to take care of. And I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on jackwagons, but there's just some people that have to be called out. And I'm going to start with my guest. And Nate, Jason, which one wants to go first?
I'll go first.
It's kind of the same one. So
Yeah. So,
Okay, y'all sharing jackwagons? I got you.
yeah, because it's got such a broad topic on it. The Ghislaine Maxwell trial.
Okay.
You know, you get the Rittenhouse verdict. You know, the actual judicial system has done its job.
Right.
It's proven that it actually works. And now we're moving on to her. All of a sudden, we're on this trial. You have all these CEOs, CFOs resigning from companies. You have a mass shooting. We haven't had a mass shooting that has been publicly put out there on the news until now. So I'm no conspiracy theorist by any means, but I just feel like it's completely
convenient, right?
Convenient now that they're trying to push the attention off of her and what has been going on to something else.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my jackwagon right there.
Well, not only that, but with people were angry over the verdict of Kyle Rittenhouse.
Exactly.
They're still calling him a murderer and all. Even though our judicial system, was pristine, right? I mean, everything was except the prosecution, which was completely biased and criminal, in my opinion. But even through their antics, it didn't work. The American people saw through it, the jury saw through it, and justice, the correct sentence and justice was served for Kyle Rittenhouse. Now his life's never going to be the same again.
No, never.
Poor fella. I mean, I'm sure there's all kinds of death threats and things like that going around for him. So he's going to be on the swivel all the time, keep his head on the swivel. But the one that was going on simultaneously with that one as well, the one with Ahmaud
Arbery,
Arbery trial, and then of course that verdict went the way that the liberals, the gun grabbers, wanted it to go. And I can't say that I disagree with that either. Just listening to the facts and what happened, it's like, well, guys probably shouldn't have been doing that. You know?
Exactly.
I'm a firm believer that when that happens, I don't know as much as the juries on either one of those trials.
Either one of them. Nope. Exactly. So that's why I say, you know, based on what I've heard, what I've seen, and that's all we can do at this point because we weren't sitting there in the trial. We didn't see everything or hear everything. So, but, you know, I think justice was served there duly. Now you're talking about talk about a little more detail on what you're talking about, the trial you're talking about.
So the Max Wayne, like, it's just, you got such a huge public figure that attention is being drawn to her through this trial, and all of a sudden, conveniently, something happens that's going to trigger a lot of people in this country. It's going to trigger families because it was a high school shooting. Now people are going to are my kids safe? Are they not safe? Are we going to try and push more gun control? Are we not going to push more gun control? It's just, it always seems to cloud what's actually going on that should be also being publicized as well. Like, I feel like I get it. It's a mass shooting. It's a horrible thing. I don't agree with it. It's
a school shooting on top of that.
And I feel
one
for the
in
families
Michigan.
that lost kids. Exactly. And I feel for those families. Like, I have a son. Nate has kids. Like, we understand. Like, we've never lost any kids. But it's like, you can't just dump all the attention into that and just stop producing anything on everything else.
The biased coverage, I think, is what gets us. The Rittenhouse was all you saw for weeks. And then Maxwell trial starts, and conveniently it makes about 2 news blips, and here's the next news cycle.
Well, that, you know, and like you said, you know, all of a sudden we're seeing this resurgence in the school shootings, because there was one that happened here in Tennessee just yesterday. Today's Thursday, so that would have been Wednesday in the Memphis area. However, I don't think it was like a like school shooting. It happened like during a basketball game in the evening, and I think it was some older punks that were involved in that. But I mean, I don't know all the details on that either, but you know, the Michigan, the Tennessee one, I think there's been another one also that I was hearing about too.
And it goes back to that whole bias. It's like, okay, we had this trial of a huge public figure and all these people that could be involved, and now all of a sudden we're just going to not cover that and start covering all these shootings.
Yeah,
like, it's so trying to take attention away from it almost. At least that's what it seems.
So tell me, what is the person on trial? Maxwell who?
Maxwell, it's tied to the Epstein scandal.
Oh, okay. What's her name?
Was it Ghislaine? I'm going to butcher it. Ghislaine Maxwell.
It's like Ghislaine Maxwell.
I'm going to see if I can even Google it, because I was trying to Google the Alec Baldwin stuff today to get an update on it, and it seems like they're suppressing that information because he did. And I'll save that because that's going to be my jackwagon, obviously. But I want to find out more about this. All right, here it is. Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yep.
So I type her name in, and a juror was excused from the trial. I'm seeing that. Let's see what's in the news. Maxwell was the lady of Epstein's house, former worker testifies. It was 40 minutes ago. This Maxwell trial centers on allegations of grooming young girls. And so what we're talking about here is there are a lot of high-profile people who, you know, could get, they're not going to, could get in trouble over this. I've heard Trump's name mentioned. I've heard Clinton's name mentioned. I've heard who else? I mean, there's
a bunch of A-list actors in there. You've got Tom Hanks.
Yeah,
like it's one of the high people, the people that are constantly in the news.
Yeah, the people who are controlling the news, basically.
I wouldn't say they're controlling it, but they definitely have quite a pool.
Yeah, definitely. So all these things that are conveniently popping up that are overshadowing, you know, this trial. I get it. I'm surprised this lady's still alive.
We'll leave our comments to ourselves on that one.
Well, I mean, just look at the facts. Look at the facts and who's involved with it. So, yeah, that's a great jackwagon. I like that. Good catch on that. So my jackwagon, again, I think this is my third week in a row, is Alec Baldwin. So he had, and it's tonight actually. He's got a 60 Minutes interview with that Greek guy, Stephanopoulos. Yeah. Is that a Greek? No, I think that's a Greek name. Anyway, he's got a 60-minute interview, I think, with him tonight, and they've shown clips of it leading up to tonight, and he comes out and says that he did not pull the trigger. Alec Baldwin says he did not pull the trigger.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And he goes on to say, I would never point a gun at someone.
If that was the case, there would be a young female still alive till today.
And somebody not injured, whoever he injured. But there's apparently some witnesses that are coming forward on his behalf and saying, yeah, no, he didn't pull the trigger. Like the assistant director. But on the converse of that, you know, the young lady who's really, I think they're trying to put everything on is the armorer chick. And I had that pulled up here somewhere.
Man, that can open up a whole nother can of jackwagons right there. Though, not pulling the trigger and
firearm safety rules.
Well, I want to, and that comes on I think at 7 tonight. So we should be done in time to check it out. But I want to watch that and just kind of see. But you know, he goes into his little acting, crying, and all this boo-hoo, woe is me. So ABC News has released a clip in which Alec Baldwin tells George Stephanopoulos that he did not pull the trigger on a gun that went off on a New Mexico film set, killing a cinematographer. Alec Baldwin told ABC's whatever interview airing Thursday that he did not pull the trigger on a prop gun he was holding on a New Mexico film set when it went off, killing a cinematographer. Quote, I didn't pull the trigger, Baldwin said. I would never point a gun at anyone and pull the trigger at them. Never. That's one of the quotes there.
That must be one of those magic firing guns.
Yeah, I've dropped a ton of guns that have been loaded in my lifetime. Never has it gone off, not saying it can't, but to hold a gun and point it at someone and say not pull the trigger and it went off, just that right there alone, like how ignorant can you really get?
Well, like, and again, it's a prop gun too, so who knows what they've done to it, what kind of modifications that they've done to it, so on and so forth. But still, it requires some force, and it's he used a wheel gun, so it wasn't a semi-automatic or anything. So it was, it was a wheel gun. But there's got to be film or something of it. He was rehearsing, so they may not have been filming at the time. You know, it may not have been rolling. So I don't know if there's like any kind of film evidence or anything like that. But for her to be sitting behind the camera, you'd think it was probably rolling.
Yeah, I would think so too. I mean, I get if you're going to rehearse, you're going to rehearse it like you're going to do it live, but
yeah. And they make all these documentary things, you know, while they're filming films, behind the scene kind of stuff. So I'd be very shocked and surprised if there's not some sort of a footage of it.
Well, there may have been footage. It may not be there anymore.
Everything's filmed now.
Yeah.
Somebody had their cell phone out, I'm sure.
Oh, you would think so. It says, he said in response to a question about how a live round ended up on the set, I have no idea. Someone put a live bullet in a gun, a bullet that wasn't even supposed to be on the property. That I can agree with. Mm-hmm. But the fact that he didn't pull the trigger and didn't aim it, it had to have been aimed at her.
Exactly.
Because she got hit with it. I mean, it's not a magic bullet. You know, it's not like the Kennedy magic bullet where it's going to shoot over here and it's going to zip over here and do an Angelina Jolie wanted trick or something, you know. So, I don't know, but it says that ABC said a 2-hour special 2020 will examine the investigation into the shooting in more depth, and that's supposed to air next week. So it looks to me like all these liberal people are getting behind him and already creating his defense, you know, for him.
It's ridiculous.
I find it funny that they're turning a tragedy into a money-making documentary series about the investigation of the tragedy.
Well, it's 2020, you know. So, but yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. So, he's still my jackwagon. I told you guys that I would keep you up to date on what's going on with this because I don't want this to get buried. I want it to stay out there in front, and I want the truth. Whatever happened, happened. I want to know. So there you go. There's my jackwagon.
We may never know the truth, actually. So
we may not, but on a film set, there's just too many people not to know it. But then at the same time, they get pressured too if they want to keep their jobs.
You want to stay in the industry?
Yeah. You want to stay in the industry? You want that money? Money talks.
I'm telling you, they make people do a lot of things they wouldn't normally do, like get vaccination shots or wear masks.
Yeah,
they're still pushing that. My girlfriend works in the industry. She's down there where you get down in Atlanta, working on some vampire show or something right now. And they're still making them do the test, wear the mask, all that bull crap.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right, you got any more jackwagons? Anybody else come to mind? You want to call out?
That was it for me.
That was the main.
I was gonna say, I think we could probably beat a dead horse real quick on the jackwagons.
Yeah.
Go down the rabbit hole and create new ones for sure.
We could go days and days. Let me just make sure that nobody posted anything on Instagram. Okay, I don't see anything right off. So if there's one when we go through them, we'll pick it out and we don't let jackwagons get away, so we'll put them on there.
Like it.
Yeah.
And that shooting I was talking about in Tennessee, fatal shooting after Tennessee high school basketball games is what it was. 2 people were shot, one fatally, following a pair of basketball games Tuesday night at a Tennessee high school. And, of course, they still categorize that as a school shooting, whether it was students or not involved or it had anything to do with the school. Let's honor a hero. Let's counter this jackwagoneriness with some heroes. And you guys have an excellent nomination, so let's hear it.
So ties into what we were talking about, right? So young man by the name of Tate Meyer was a football player at that school in Oxford where that tragic school shooting happened the other day. And by all accounts, I've seen it truly a hero. Rushed the gunman and sacrificed his life trying to help others.
Yeah, so here it is right here. Star wrestler, football player Tate Meyer among Oxford High School shooting victims. Let's see what this says about it. And I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that he actually rushed the guy to try to stop it. It says Tate Meyer, 16, a star junior running back at Oxford High School, Michigan, was one of 4 students who died during a shooting at the school on Tuesday. He died while being rushed to a local hospital after being shot. The suspect, who has been identified as 15-year-old Ethan Crumbly, I got comments about that, was taken into custody after he killed 4 students and injured 7 people. He's been charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. Meyer, Hannah St. Juliana, 14-year-old Madison Baldwin, 17, and Justin Schilling, 17, are 4 victims. There was 3, so another one died, I guess, since the last time. And there was, like 8 injured or something?
Something like that, yeah.
And one of them was a teacher. See, I was told that everybody in that school was running one way and Tate was running the other way, Wingert told the newspaper. Oakland County Sheriff Mike Bouchard told the Detroit Free Press on Tuesday night that currently there's no video evidence that shows anyone attempting to disarm the shooter. But you guys are saying that there are witnesses that are saying that he did.
Everything I was seeing, some firsthand accounts were saying that he died rushing the shooter. He may not have gotten to him, but...
Yeah, he was running toward the fire, not away from it.
You made the decision.
Yeah, and that's the definition of a hero right there. Here's a quote. It says, Tate is not just a hero to his fellow students at Oxford High School, but a legend. His act of bravery should be remembered forever and passed down through generations. He put his life in danger to try to help the thousands of other students at Oxford High School. that says reads the description on the change.org petition, which I don't know what that's all about. But anyway, so definitely this young man deserves mention and a ride on Lead Force 1. Tate Meyer, rest in peace, buddy. And I haven't heard the whole story here. Do you guys know what this kid Crumbly's beef was?
No, haven't heard yet. I don't know if we ever will. I mean, rarely.
Yeah. I don't know. All right. Any more heroes? Any other heroes we want to honor, recognize?
Honestly, I don't have any more on top of my head right now.
Tate was the one that hit me.
I mean that's a good one. My
grandfather's out there, but you know.
You throw your grandfather?
My grandfather is always my hero. So.
Well, let's hear about it. Let's put him on the Talking Lead Force 1. What
we need to get him? Dale Dolezal. He out in Montana, Korean War Marine. Grew up dirt floor poor. Went to the Marine Corps. Ended up graduating from Harvard Business. Owns his own company. Worked his hind end off his entire life. So. That man's 100% my hero. Always will be.
That is the definition of a hero as well. I love that. Self-made, pulled himself up by his bootstraps, and made a great living. What company? What's he do?
He retired from Holland Hitch. They make the receiver hitches for 18-wheelers, one of the major manufacturers. Yeah. And then ended up starting his own consulting company, spinning up some companies, doing all sorts of stuff. And he's still... Man just turned 84 years old, and he still goes to work every morning, runs 3 miles every morning.
Oh, damn.
In Montana. Yeah.
I mean, keep making me feel this big.
Yeah. He's a hard man.
Yeah, he's a great role model, definitely.
Makes 29-year-old Jason over here feel like a chump.
When's the last time you ran 3 miles?
I ran 7 on Monday.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Look at you. Very nice.
Overachiever.
Hey, man, I'm preparing for Mammoth.
Yeah, I'll say I'm rucking. I'm not running.
You're going to ruck it?
We're shooting Mammoth Sniper Challenge here in January. So.
Oh, well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. I've heard of it. So, what is it? Where is it? And let's talk about it.
So it's the Mammoth Grunt Style Sniper Stance, and Vortex is a big sponsor of it as well. It's basically you're taking a bunch of ex-military or civilians, anybody's welcome to shoot it, and you go out to Fort Gordon is where they're hosting it, and they've hosted it for the past, I think, 2 or 3 years now. It's in January, and it's basically you carry all your own equipment, your food, your sleep, everything, and you have to ruck in between each stage and shoot a sniper challenge, a competition, to try and win, obviously.
And it's how many days?
3 days of shooting. So it's a 4-day event. First day is kind of a registration 0 day. Then at 6 a.m. that first morning, what you have on your back is what you've got for the next 3 days of a competition. You're going to end up putting, what did we do last year? About 42 miles.
Yeah. So all in all, like just for rucks alone, you did around 33, 34. And then when you factor in all the movement in between the stages, it came out to be about 40 to 42 miles.
Wow.
In 3 days.
That's a hell of a challenge right there. So they got a Facebook page, Leadheads, if you want to go look this up. It's called Mammoth Sniper Challenge. It's in San Antonio. The Mammoth Sniper Challenge is a 4-day precision rifle shooting competition that tests the human body, mind, and spirit, and I guess friendship too.
We got real close after last year.
It got super cold.
You do a little snuggling.
Yeah.
There was a sleeping bags in between us. We're fine.
There was no shame in this struggle.
No. Well, snuggling. Yeah.
Let's see. G3dynamics.com. Let's see if this is a website for it. That's something different.
It's more like a sponsor.
That might be Chris Andrews. So, yeah. Grunt Style Vortex. Chris is the match director out there. He was a longtime Mammoth competitor. And ended up becoming the match director. He owns Best Targets, makes awesome steel targets. That's all you shoot the whole competition, and they get hounded. Well, some of them, the close ones get shot a lot. The farther away ones start, getting a little more pristine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he took it over. It used to be out at Rock Castle. up in Kentucky.
Kentucky, yeah, man, I've been up there. You know they shut that down, don't you?
I had not heard that.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, they sold it, and the developer chopped it up and sold it off into pieces. So there's no chance of bringing it back. That was an awesome place.
Yeah. Now, Mammoth's cool. So Daniel Defense is actually sponsoring 2 of the stages again. We did last year. We normally, winners in it's called the Tough Man division because it's a little tough. But they walked away last year with a brand new Mark 12 and a brand new Delta 5 Pro.
Nice.
Vortex put glass on it for them. So we're usually pretty invested in it from a sponsorship standpoint. It ties really well into we dropped the bolt gun, the Delta 5 Pro coming out.
Mm-hmm.
It made sense, and we're both going to have one on our backs this year.
I would hope so.
They're not the lightest rifle in the world. I shot a Mark 12 last year. It was way lighter.
Yeah. Well,
I shot a Delta 5 Pro, so I'm humping the same thing.
Well, we're gonna talk about the Delta 5 coming up. We want to talk about that definitely. But gonna get that train out of here, and let's get those heroes on the plane, Lead Force 1, and give them a good ride there too. So we want to learn more about Daniel Defense. I know that's going to be, I think, several of our listeners' questions. We might field some of those during this interview, but talk about Daniel Defense. I know I would love to get Marty on here sometime and just kind of get the true behind the scene story and all that. But talk about Daniel Defense a little bit.
Where do you start? I mean,
start from the beginning as far back as you can go.
So Marty started this company in essence because his golf game was terrible. He'd go golfing, and he'd always come home more pissed off than when he started.
Well, ain't that the truth? That's my experience with golf too.
Oh, 100%. If you can't, wreck a golf cart, then what's the point?
Right.
But, so a buddy of his, this is way back, got him involved in shooting ARs. And this was back in the Colt SP1, big hole uppers, so Colt Sporters. And he loved it, fell in love with shooting and the shooting sports world. But back then it was all carry handles. So he was like, man, I really just want a flat top upper receiver for my guns. I got 3 or 4 of them. I only need 4. The only guy that would make them for him said, I'll make them, but I got to make 100. So Marty said, all right, deal. Kept 4 of them and spent the next few years going to gun shows and, calling folks, and sold the other 96 of them.
Yeah.
Really kind of sparked the fire. So then he came out, sling loop, got really invested. And this whole time he's got Daniel overhead door. He's got a real job. He's installing garage doors and fireplaces and,
very lucrative at that time too, is from what we're told. Like it wasn't just like a niche thing where he was making by. He was very successful
at the garage doors.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we were talking a couple episodes ago, about all these businesses that were started in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
His actually started.
Yeah, exactly.
Making garage doors. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the filing cabinet in the back of his office.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we went from garage doors to one of the most successful commercial and military producers of firearms. Not just ARs, but firearms. Yeah.
Yeah. We make a couple of things for guns that people have no idea that we make. The L85 rail for the Ministry of Defense. So anytime you see over in England, the Queen's Guard, they have Daniel Defense rails on their L85s.
Wait a minute, I'm going to look this up. L85.
Yeah. There's a few other countries over there as well that have DD rifles. We have a fairly big international following.
What is the L85?
It's that bullpup.
That's the bullpup.
Yep.
I'm going to pull it up here. For those that are listening, you can go to our YouTube channel and watch the video. If you didn't know, we do record the video as well. And I'm a little clumsy, fumbly on on my transitions, but hey, we get them there. So is this it right here, the L85?
So that's the gun. I don't know if you can see one that's got our rail on it. But yeah, we've held that Ministry of Defense contract for quite a while now. But yeah, I mean, so
is that it?
It's hard to see on this little old laptop here.
Let's see if I can make it bigger there. That looks like a drawing.
No,
I don't think
that looks different.
It's a hinged Picatinny rail, fits right on there. But yeah, I mean, so all that to say, it's not just ARs, it's not just the United States. I mean, Daniel Defense, we've got
worldwide.
An international sales.
Yeah.
He's overseas right now, doing international.
Oh, I bet
business.
This is it.
That's it right there.
Yeah,
that's
it.
The rail.
That's it.
There it is.
Yep, that's it.
So I dig bullpups. Are we able to get those here in America?
Don't know if you can get the L85.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we have it as a commercially available option.
There it is.
I think you need to make one for the RDB, the Kel-Tec RDB. They need a good upgraded rail here for theirs.
We'll pass it on to our design engineers and see what happens.
Aftermarket.
I'm sure there's one sitting down in our engineering vault. There's one of about everything down there. So.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. So let me get my screen back here. I'm distracted with that. Boom. There we go. So you guys are sitting in the vault.
Yep.
One of the vaults.
One of two vaults.
One of two vaults. Yeah, I didn't get to see the second vault. I got to see that one, I guess. Is that the one I was in?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's our sales and marketing vault. So it's all of our trade show conference guns that we bring to, say, SHOT Show, NRA, USCA. And then also on that note, we also have T&E demo guns in here. So if we're going to go do range events or go somewhere where somebody wants to use a gun or they're going to take a gun, we can ship it to them from out of this vault.
Okay.
The other vault that we're talking about is also the engineering vault. The reason why it's very, very secretive because we have so many prototype things going on down there. We don't want that public knowledge. We don't want it to be public just yet.
You think I'm going to squeal? I'm not going to squeal.
I don't think you're going to squeal, but it just helps keep that keeps it down,
I understand. So we did a tour while we were there, Bill and I, a couple of weeks ago when we went to that event down there in Georgia. And I got to say, I was very impressed with, I wasn't expecting the scale of what you guys are doing. But like you said, there's things that you're doing that not everybody's aware of either. So it makes sense. And plus the fact that you guys are going to be expanding soon too.
It's a little building. Yeah.
It's a little building.
They've already added probably another 5 CNC machines since your guys' visit. So.
Are you serious?
Dead serious.
That's great. So I've done several manufacturer tours before. I even went overseas and did one in Poland for an AK manufacturer over there. And of all the ones that I've done, and of course Glock is very impressive in what they do and with their handguns and whatnot. But for what you guys are doing and the variety that you're doing, it was just like, wow, I can't believe this. And everything was just like smooth, precision, butter. Everything was running just great. Of course, I think it was a Friday, so not everybody was there. And that was impressive in of itself. You guys were still running everything. But what was the guy's name that gave us a tour?
Frank Whitaker.
Frank did a great job, knows his stuff, so we appreciate Frank doing that. And he really knows that process. He was giving us the ins and outs of all the machines and, the stages that everything goes through from start to finish. And seeing those Delta 5s out there was amazing too. But just starting from the blocks of steel that they come in, and then all the transformations from the rails, the barrels, every piece and part for your rifles, the M4s all the way to the bolt there. So very impressive layout. And then of course, not just that, but just the facility in itself, the way it's set up for the employees too. It seems like that Daniel Defense is a very family oriented type company, and that in that they like to take care of their employees. So everything from the lounge to you guys even have an on-site doctor that your employees can
pay for.
Yeah, free health care to use. You know, if you're an employee or your family, kids. You know, we've got a physician's assistant down there. You know,
very impressive.
2 of them, yeah.
And they don't just do like medical, like they do physicals. If you need like health coaching or mental health coaching, like they do it all.
Yeah.
And it's no cost to us whatsoever. It doesn't even go into our medical benefits. We don't have to use our insurance for anything. Marty and Cindy totally front the bill on it.
Yeah.
100% for us.
It is a family business through and through. I mean, it is not uncommon to see Marty walk around the entire facility, just stopping, talking to everybody. It doesn't matter if it's 6 o'clock at night. He'll stop and talk.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, he wasn't there when I did my tour. I was a little upset because I was really looking forward to meeting him. But I've got some pictures, and I'm going to show those now. So, again, if you're listening, you can go to our YouTube channel. They were kind enough to let me take some pictures while I was there. And I got approval on all these, so they should all be fine to show. Because I asked before I took the photos. And let's just start.
Take pictures of just how dirty it is out on the floor and everything.
Yeah, there wasn't a speck of dust. So when you come in, I mean, these are the big flags that you see there. There's the Daniel Defense. I didn't get a picture of the front, which I regret I didn't get a picture of the front.
It's actually not a bad picture. You got the jets in the background flying over the jet streams. Like
this right here.
Yeah, it's like you almost.
Those are your lights from the inside.
Oh, it looks from this angle.
Yeah.
This little small TV.
We did the national anthem and got the jet flyby while we were there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they really roll out the red carpet for you there.
We do have a red carpet now.
They do have red carpet now?
We do have red carpet.
Let me start at the beginning here.
Oh, there's those jet streams now.
Yeah, there's some jet streams. So this was actually outside, so pretty impressive there. There's a parking lot. I don't know why I took a picture of that parking lot space.
Apparently you like Chevrolet Cruises.
I think I was like, oh, that's where I need to park. You guys need to hire me. So here's a picture of the inside where you guys are now. We were in the vault. This is actually the video that I posted on Instagram. And then these are the bolt parts that you guys make, muzzle devices that you make.
It's going to be our mill turn cell.
Yeah, right there it says.
Right there.
Mill turn.
Mill turn. There it is, the mill turn station.
I may give him the tour a time or two.
So these are all different parts that you guys make. Here's some receivers.
Forgings. We don't do anything billet. Everything's CNC'd from a forging.
And then here's some Delta 5s.
Those actually were probably just either were getting ready to be test fired or had just gotten test fired, getting ready for packaging.
Okay. I'll let you guys explain these. There's some more. Got them laid out. I mean, these things are just laying everywhere. I just wanted to grab one. So you're not going to miss one.
So usually when they're laid out on the carts like that, they have a custom work order attached to them. So they're probably being bought by a law enforcement agency or some agency of sorts, or they're a special run for Marty or Cindy for somebody else. So they get something that's extra. There may be a different muzzle brake or different trigger, something of the sorts of that.
And that one's mine right there, I think. That was
Okay.
custom. But no, he mentioned that because that's why he turned over the sheets there. He didn't want any of the info because those were custom. I think these were too.
Yep, those are.
Does that have the?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's it's got a few new stuffs on it. So
there's been some pictures floating. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
So there's some of your DDMs.
Couple Mark 18 uppers right there.
Yeah, couple. Yeah. I mean, that was just the thing, just seeing the sheer volume of these. And how many of these do you guys crank out a week?
So it's going to depend. It depends on the build plan, right? Yep. So it really is going to all depend on, are we doing a ton of bolt guns? Because those are going to be way more labor intensive, right? They're not as quick to put together. They're a precision piece. But, I mean, on average, a couple thousand a week.
Yeah. So this is the room that I really liked. and I was impressed with, was your armorer's room.
Oh, he takes pride in that.
Yeah.
And the fact that you only have one full-time armorer, just really
full-time gunsmith.
Yeah.
He's our only full-time gunsmith.
Gunsmith, yeah. Just really impressed the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If your gun comes in under warranty and it needs work, Joe Gurn is who's going to do that work.
Yeah.
Every time.
And he does not cut corners. He does not care. He doesn't care how mad you are or how happy you are. He's going to make sure when it comes here, he diagnoses the problem, he fixes the problem, and you get it back, and it's ready to roll.
Yeah. And I was very impressed with how neat and organized he keeps everything. I was like, yeah, this needs to be my workbench. So you're talking about warranty and issues and problems. I guess this is your what do they call it? The problem bin or something?
Yeah, I like to call it the play stupid games and stupid prizes cart. not everything on there is a you did something stupid kind of.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if you go from the receiver to the bolt carrier group to the short barreled rifle that's there, the small 10.3 inch, that was a torture test we did. We just mag dumped just to see how hot we could get one for design and engineering purposes, and it melted the gas tube.
Yeah.
Just kind of shows you.
That's this one right here.
Yeah, we actually put our products through a very strenuous test. We don't just, we shot a couple hundred rounds, it's good to go. It gets tens of thousands of rounds before it ever sees full production.
Yeah. So these are actually some warranty ones that people sent in that you guys fixed their problems, even though it might have been an ID10T error. Look at this one. How many shots do you think that is to be in that
the
barrel?
record's 15.
The record we have now is 10 on a
on squibs.
Squibs, and it literally on the barrel. I can't remember the length of the barrel, but it starts about an inch and a half after the chamber, and stops an inch and a half before the end of the muzzle. It is so many rounds that it's actually pushed copper and lead into the gas block.
Oh my gosh.
It's insane.
It is insane.
And it's testament to the barrel because that barrel never bulged one bit. They checked the outside diameter. It is still the same diameter as it did as it left the facility.
Wow.
And it got replaced under warranty. That man got a new barrel, new gas block, new gas tube in his upper, sent back to him in less than a week.
Yeah.
Wow. So
that's to show you that, you can do something, like I said, play stupid games and stupid prizes kind of thing. Yeah. But we're still gonna take care of you. And
that's what impressed me, seeing some of these malfunctions, I guess. I'll say in a nice way, that people had done. It's obvious that they were idiots and didn't deserve a warranty coverage, but you guys still covered anyway. And I think that's awesome. Here's one of those L85 rails right here.
Yep. And then actually, if you look to the right of that, there's that nice little silver shiny spot.
Right here?
That's a reminder to everyone that height over bore is a real thing.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you shoot over your buddy's gun and shoot his rail.
Yep, that was done with a pistol.
That was a pistol? Yep. Accidental handgun discharge. Accidental.
He didn't pull the trigger or point it.
He didn't, yeah. He would never point his gun at somebody. And then something we're going to talk about, you guys do suppressors, which, I remember vaguely at some point in time that you guys did that, but I'd forgotten about it because you don't hear a lot about you guys, your cans or your suppressors. You haven't really done a lot of, I guess, overt marketing on those at this point.
Not right now. So the Wave is a great can. I mean, we offer it in direct thread and quick detach. The thing is a tank. You're going to have a hard time killing that suppressor.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool design that it's essentially 3D printed, for lack of a better term. Mm-hmm. There's no welds. So the nice part about that is a weld is normally your weak spot in a can. Well, we don't have any. So then your serialized component is the locking collar on the quick detach that is below where the round exits.
Right.
And that suppressor's got the same warranty that our guns do, that anything with our name on it, anything that has the Daniel Defense name on it, if we built it, it's covered 100% for life. I don't care if you're the first owner or the 100th. We got you covered. So we've had catastrophic events, and guys will have a baffle strike. Give us a call. You're going to talk to me or Nick or Colton or one of the guys on the sales team or Jason or warranty. You're talking to one of us. I'm going to send you a shipping label. We're going to put a new suppressor core with your locking collar on it and send your can back to you in a couple of days.
Nice. To your front door, to be exact.
Yeah. So you didn't hear a lot about it. It's a great can. It's a little heavy. It's a little longer than something like a Surefire or a Dead Air.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, the biggest purchasers of those have been law enforcement.
Gotcha. And how do they attach? You got just a quick attach?
We have a QD and a direct thread variant. So that's the QD. It's going to mount up to
DD wave brake. We've got one right here behind us on our PDW SBR.
So I don't know if you can see that, but
let me make the screen stop sharing the screen here. Hold on.
We don't know what you're doing, Marty. Come on.
There we go. Now I got you back. All right.
So
here we go.
Acme threaded. When you put the can on, it recesses over that ridge, quarter turn, locks it down, and you're good to go.
Ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, it works pretty okay. So now we have not been, and we're not making them right now because it was a pretty labor-intensive process. It took like 7 days to print 30 cores. So we're going back to the drawing board. There's hopefully going to be a second gen coming out at some point.
Okay. And you said print, so you're 3D printing these?
It starts off in a metal powder. It's Inconel, but they don't like to use the word Inconel, so it's a nickel.
Proprietary.
Yeah, it's nickel alloy based. It's proprietary blend that we use. But like Nate said, we're going back to the drawing board on it because suppressors now have gone through this flow through technology.
Yeah.
And it just seems to be the way of the future for a suppressor. Because a lot of people don't realize that in that gas that you get from those suppressors, there's 13 toxic metals for the human body. So that's why flow through has become such an important aspect in suppressor technology.
But that's not the only can we make. So we also do make that integrally suppressed rifle.
Integrally suppressed. We like that.
9-inch barrel. Shroud permanently attached to the gas block and a suppressor on the end of it. So
16
one
inches.
gun. Yeah.
It's got a removable baffle core in it. So if you got a baffle strike or an end cap strike, all you're removing is the baffles. And since that shroud is the only serialized component on this firearm, you don't pay 2 tax stamps. Because
as long as you don't damage your shroud, then you can.
Yeah, exactly. All we're going to do is you're going to bring it in. We're going to replace the baffling. And we're going to send you your gun back.
Well, on one of those pictures I was showing, there was I guess a baffle strike on one of those cans there, and you guys were able just to replace the baffles.
And that's what Nate was saying about the wave, because we made the collar serialized, and since it's behind where the bullet exits, the odds of it getting damaged are very slim. So we can just replace an entire baffle core and core itself and give you basically a brand new suppressor. Because all you paid that tax stamp for was that little collar.
Right. I love it.
Same thing with our SR.
Yeah, I love that. All suppressor companies should do that. I know a couple of them are doing that. Ackless Defense does there. I don't know if you can see the one I got right. Your back's covering up. So that one.
They wanted to be DD too.
Does that also. Do what?
I said it wanted to be DD as well.
It did. They all aspire to be DDs, right? That's actually a Nordic Components.
Okay.
They, for some reason, they don't make rifles anymore, but they made a damn good AR. AR-15, AR-10.
Yeah, they did make a good one.
Yeah. Luckily, I got them when I did. So
there you go.
But they're nice. I enjoy them. But so the cans. The integrally suppressed, you've got that, and then the wave, and the calibers that you have the wave in are the 5.56 and 30, 7.62.
They're all going to be a 30 cal can. The can itself is a 30 caliber baffle stack. You can shoot 17 HMR to 300 Win Mag.
Okay, got a multi-cal then. Okay.
But we offer, so like the quick detach comes with a muzzle device, and you can choose 5/8 by 24 or half by 28, and the direct thread we offer same thread pitch.
Okay. Now, can people still
thread pitch out there? So
can people still get those, Or
depends on if your dealer's got them. So we don't sell NFA items direct.
Sure.
So that's,
But you said you weren't making them anymore right now either.
We're paused on them. So we haven't made any new waves here in a little bit. But you've still got dealers and distributors getting them in. Just
there's still some out there. Okay.
100%.
And with that being said, we did keep a reserve here in the facility. So if you do have a warranty issue, we can still take care of you. We're not just going to cut it off and not take care of you afterwards. We kept a reserve so that way we can do that for those people.
Cool. I dig it. So now let's talk about the Delta 5. We talked a little bit about it with Amy Winehouse. Jake, good old Jake. But we talked more of the military aspect side of things. So let's talk the civilian commercial side of things here.
I'll say if you want to go ahead and grab that one, Nate.
And we love gun porn, so grab one, bring it over here, show it to us.
Oh yeah, we got them.
We have a couple we can't put on the camera too. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, just let me know when that happens.
I'll have to wait till SHOT Show for those. We'll just put it that way.
Okay. All right. So this is your Delta 5 bolt action.
Pro. Delta 5 Pro.
Delta 5 Pro.
So we have our original Delta 5, which has got the little polymer stock on it. Mm-hmm. Same action, same barrels, just different. Now it's in a
different
chassis
furniture.
platform.
Yeah, which is sexy. I love it. Yeah. I love a chassis.
Exactly. And this is in our Coyote Tan. We offer an OD green and black as well. The black is at $24.99 price point. We did that because we wanted it to be a production rifle that you can use in PRS. But we wanted it to be a true production rifle. There's a lot of companies out there that make production rifles, but they don't come with half the features this thing does. You still have to buy a muzzle device. There might be other little trinkets you have to put on there to make it a complete rifle. Mm-hmm. Us, out of the box, you can take to a match and start shooting. In fact, the engineer that actually designed this gun, Daniel McElroy, he shoots PRS with me. We're the two PRS shooters for DD, and he shoots it in production class. Uses factory 107 Burger hybrid Federal bullets, everything same trigger, hasn't changed anything. Uses Collis Collis glass. That meets that production price point, and has just been killing it with it. He doesn't win every match he goes to, but he does win a majority of them, and it's something to be said because we also, a lot of companies won't give that accuracy guarantee. It's half minute or better, and we stand by that hands down with match grade ammo.
Even if it's the shooter error.
Yep.
So
let's send Jason out to help. Yeah.
Let's start with the buttstock, since that's the one that's in camera here. Let's start there and work our way up and talk about the features.
So the buttstock, we'll kind of sit here. Super user friendly and adjustable. You can change your comb height. So if you need to raise your cheek up or head up and down to adjust you to your scope, you can. It also has a toe in, toe out feature. So it actually will toe like this or this. So it's not always just straight. You can actually make it conform to your jawline because you want to be very comfortable when you're shooting a precision rifle. Because you want to be consistent, you want to be comfortable. All that equates to accuracy and being precise. Our buttstock, they have turn knobs. You can turn and loosen, and you can raise it up and down. There's also watermarks on here. So say if I'm shooting this rifle and we're together at a range and you want to shoot it, our builds are different. So you may need to make it a little more comfortable. You can adjust it. I know where I have it. So when you shoot it and I get it back, I can readjust it back to me.
Nice.
The same thing as the comb height, their length of pull, you can toe that buttstock left or right as well. So you can conform it to your body. We wanted to make it as personal to you as possible. Where you see these nifty little turn knobs, they're not just some little plastic cover that goes over a bolt. They're machined metal, robust. They're not just going to break off or come off.
Yeah.
On that note, wherever you see these pins that adjust, there are set screws on the opposite side of this buttstock. I don't know if you'll be able to see them. You can the little set screws here. Mm-hmm. If you don't want to run those knobs, you could set those screws in and it permanently locks that buttstock
to
whatever length of pull you have or comb height. So
nice.
Super user friendly there.
So how many points of articulation would you say that is right there?
There's a lot.
There's a lot, yeah. More than you'll use probably.
6 or 7 in the stock.
Or more than I'll use, probably. Nice. All right, let's move our way on up here.
Moving on down, you'll notice that there's a little block here. Here in the future, kind of leave it open to determine or.
It's out there. There's a folding adapter.
There is a folding adapter in play.
Okay.
It has not yet hit the market, but it's coming.
Okay, and that's what that little section right there is kind of reserved for.
That's what it's reserved for. Everybody asks about it, but like Nate said, it's out there. A lot of people already know about.
It's in the mail.
It's coming. We just don't know when. That's all. Moving down, we use our own pistol grip. However, you can put any AR-15 style pistol grip on this rifle.
Oh, okay, nice.
There's also what in the firearms, our PS world, they call it. It's a gas pedal or thumb rest. I call it a thumb rest. I don't prefer to use gas pedal. It is adjustable. You can move it up and down, and you can switch it if you're left-handed or right-handed shooter.
Okay, ambi selection, nice.
So if you shoot, most people who shoot precision shoot with a false grip, thumb off, so you don't have that sympathetic response of squeezing.
Yeah.
It is a proper.
Show that again. Show that form again for our video. There you go.
So,
yep.
Instead of wrapping all the way around, because if you squeeze your hand, you'll notice that my thumb starts to move.
Yep. And
it's a sympathetic response that you just can't.
Yeah.
And when you're shooting really small
targets,
targets,
make your gun move too.
Yeah. It equates. Proprietary action to Daniel Defense. It is a short action. It uses a Remington 700 style trigger because that is a personal asset.
Tilt your camera down just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to raise it up. Sorry, we're working off this little bitty laptop camera. I apologize.
Oh, that's okay.
So it comes with a Timney Hunter 510 Elite. It'll leave the facility at about 3.5, 4 pounds for legality reasons, but you could tune it down to 1.5 pounds. So that's the only thing on here that's Remington 700 compatible. But we wanted to make it that way because triggers are very personal for people. The action, like I said, it's the same action as our original Delta 5. However, a lot of people who are used to shooting Remington 700s, you have a little bit more of a pullback on this of about 3 thou. So a lot of people will tend to kind of not come all the way back. This bolt's meant to be ran hard. We did the SOCOM dirt and debris and drop test with this gun. So it's meant to be ran like you stole it, basically.
Yeah. Cool.
Comes with a 20 MOA pick base on it.
Talk about your
bolt.
Yeah, handle.
Oh, yeah, it's got a 60-degree throw. So instead of the original 90, just all that's doing is helping you get that bolt up a little bit faster and manipulating. So you're not pulling down on a bolt that's way down here. So it makes it a lot faster to manipulate.
You can remove it. If you've got a bolt knob you just love to run, it's threaded as well. So you can take that off.
Okay.
You will hear the one thing that some people don't understand about this gun is we get people that say, man, it's a little loose back here. They don't like it.
Okay.
Well, they're used to shooting a Defiance or a Krieger or something like that that's got incredibly tight tolerances, and those are awesome actions. But pour a glass full of sand in that action and run it.
Yeah.
That's the reason that this is loose. So it's a 3-lug bolt design, floating bolt head, but that is specifically designed to clear dirt and debris. But once you go lock up, that thing is tight. You're not
moving.
It's perfectly head spaced. Yeah, it's there for a reason, folks. I promise your Delta 5 Pro.
Been some thought put into that, yeah.
And then, like Nate's saying, it's got a 3-lug bolt face that's floating as well. So when it enters the chamber, it stays concentric.
Can you pull that out?
I'm going to pull that bolt out.
Yeah.
So you can see it's got a 3-lug bolt face.
Yeah.
Here, here, and here.
Nice.
So it's 3-lug. And like Nate was saying, the way those lugs are designed, when it enters the chamber, it's like a cam locking system. So it keeps it very concentric. When you came here, our hammer forging process, we're the only company in the United States that does it that we know of. Our rifling and chamber are both hammer forged. We don't cut our chamber. So when you get a barrel cut and put on a precision rifle, sometimes that reaming process can leave unnecessary tool marks, or it may not actually be completely concentric. So when you insert that bolt into your chamber and you have that round sitting there before it jumps in those lands and grooves, it could actually offset that casing and bullet
Right.
So when it jumps into those lands and grooves, it's off axis and can create issues in accuracy.
So it was very impressive, that machine, your hammer forged machine. I think you were telling me it was like a 50 or 60-year-old machine.
The first one.
You've got two. Yeah, you've got two. You got the old timer, then you got the new one. But, we saw the original piece of metal going in, it was like that long. And then after it was hammer forged, then
turns into this long
piece of, it was like, and it's got those little, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
and
go back to the safety. We didn't talk about the safety.
Oh yeah, sorry. So it's got a standard Remington 700 style safety because that's what comes on the trigger. You actually have to pull the hanger off the trigger in order to put it on here. But unlike a Remington 700, where if I sit here and I fire this gun, I can still manipulate my bolt. If I put it on safe, I can still manipulate and unload it. So that's kind of one of the other neat features that we
I like
threw in
that.
there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I totally skipped over that. I apologize.
No, that's why I'm here.
This gun's got, again, there's so many features in this chassis system that folks have no.
Well, it's things like that people just don't even think about and they kind of take for granted. But then when you point it out, you're like, oh yeah, that's pretty badass. I like that.
I can't tell you how many times I've been sitting in a deer stand. I'm trying to unload my gun before I lower my gun out of the stand, and I have to put the weapon on fire so I can manipulate the bolt and pull the round out. Now you have another safety feature in place that keeps you safe and anybody else that may be in the woods with you or at a range safe. So
absolutely, I love it.
We took that into effect. If you move on further down, our mag release, I don't know if you'll be able to see it here. This little tab, it is ambidextrous. It's on both sides. So you have this side and this side.
Okay.
Pushes forward. Very similar to what most chassis are running nowadays.
Yeah. Just an index finger click.
Yep. And our guns will ship with 10-round mag pool, AICS mags. This is just a 5-round mag. Just an easy one we had here on hand. But it runs AICS mags. If you're running metal mags, a lot of guns that run the AICS pattern, you kind of have to tune the feed lips.
And for those who don't know, that's Accuracy International.
Chassis system.
Something system. Yeah, chassis system. That's what it is. Yeah. Thank you.
And then moving on down further, you have a Barricade Stop. So for those that want to shoot competition with this gun, you have this nice robust Barricade Stop. So you're not binding on your magazine, which could increase malfunctions. A lot of people do that with ARs when they're laying in the prone or they're shooting off a barricade. They start putting unnecessary movement and or binding that magazine so your rounds don't feed properly. So that's where that Barricade Stop comes into play.
Yeah, I like that.
And then we partner. I don't know if you can see it on there. I don't know if I can even get it close enough to the camera.
So we're looking at the underneath of the gun now, just in front of the mag well.
On the bottom of the rail at the fore-end section.
Don't show the.
Yeah. Well, Nate's got a black one. Might be able to see better. You can see it right here.
Okay.
It says Area 419.
Yeah.
They're a company out of Ohio. They make precision rifle parts.
Yep.
And they developed and patented what they call ARCA Swiss. If you're familiar with ARCA, the Swiss is they actually put scallop cuts in it. You may be able to see it. And it's just an extra locking mechanism. So instead of just having a slick rail that you're attaching to, their components have dowel pins.
Gives you more positive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For those that are skeptical of it, we tested it with this rifle with bipods fully extended, basically slamming it onto the bipods, the worst possible fall this gun can make. It dropped 2 slots, 2 little scalps. So, I mean, they are robust on here. It's not like just a little small cut that's going to fall off or shave away over time. They're robust.
Cool.
So we partnered with them so that way we could put it, and it's actually integrated to the rail. It's not an attachment point. So you don't have stacking tolerances or problems with stacking things on top of things and making it more inconsistent.
Hold that a little closer to the camera, the scallops there. So yeah, twist it the other way. No, the other way. No, the other way. Yeah. Yeah. A little bit more. So yeah, that's perfect. See it great right there. So that's what he's talking about right there, guys. So you can throw your bipods, your attachments on there. It's going to be a positive grip. Area 41?
Area 419. So they make a ton of accessories. Jason and I both run their Atlas bipod combo. So take an Atlas bipod, replace the mount with their Arca lock, They make bag riders, barricade stops. I mean, you name it. There's a glass punch one I saw for a spiked barricade. Tons of great stuff. They also provide the muzzle device for the Delta 5 Pros.
Okay, so they make the muzzle device?
Yeah, we partner with them. It's the 3-port Hellfire.
Area 419?
Yep.
That's it.
I'm going to look them up.
Good company, man. They're great. They're great people.
Before we get to there, let's go back to the top side rail mount. Your mount.
So there's actually a scallop cut here. So if you want one of those giant objective lens scopes and you mount it on this rail, you can actually mount it lower with low rings, and it won't affect anything. It won't touch your barrel or your rail. So that allows you, so you don't have to buy super high rings or expensive.
Right.
So you're not trying to raise your face up super high on the gun. I like that. It is all M-lock, as you can see here. Let me move my camera back a little bit.
Go back to the actual the rail itself. The
pick
scope.
Rail? Sorry.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so that is a 20 MOA pick base that comes on the gun. It comes standard. So it's 5.8 MRAD or 20 MOA.
Yeah.
And all that's doing is it's giving you more elevation. So when this scope is mounted on this gun, the objective lens is actually pointing down. So it gives you more elevation you can dial when you're shooting out the distance.
Perfect.
So you can kind of see it here. It's kind of real thick at the back and then tapers down as it goes down.
Mm-hmm.
That's where that 20 MOA is coming into play.
Nice. Dig it. Yeah. And you guys are making that? You make that yourself?
Yep. We make that in-house as well.
Very cool. All right, now, go ahead.
The only thing we don't make on this gun is the rubber pad here on the back
the buttstock
and the Area 419 muzzle device.
Everything's made here. All right, what next, Marty?
Huh?
What next?
So let's go back up. So it's the rails itself. So you got the ability, you got the M-lock, so you can put attachments on there. You've got let's go back to the cutout on the rail there. Yeah, to the cut there. Mm-hmm. So if you wanted to throw thermals or something like that on there, then you would just go up there.
Yep, you could put a pick base up here.
There.
Or
wait till January.
Wait till January, and you'll see what we're offering in.
Okay.
So we've got a few different little accessories that are going to come out with this.
For just what I said, type scenarios.
Yep. So the rifle's already released. Now we're releasing the accessories for it.
Okay. Well, I mean that's smart. That's what you got to do. I dig that. So let's talk about the barrel.
So it's a 24-inch 6.5 Creedmoor barrel. This is our H Palma. So you'll notice that it's kind of thin. If we had one in here, which I don't think we do at the moment.
It's your Peter Palma.
H Palma.
No, not Peter Palma. You remember Peter Palma from?
And you can see here. This is our
top shot
varnish profile. Our bull barrel, as most people like to call it.
The bull barrel.
It's just how the barrel's tapered. You can see that it's a lot thicker than this one.
Yeah.
So it doesn't help accuracy wise. I mean, the heavier the gun, the less recoil you're going to feel, and the more you're going to stay on target. But there is no true accuracy gain between the two for these. Like if I shot this one against that one.
Yeah, with a gun that heavy already, adding extra weight to that barrel is not really going to make that big of a difference.
Well, believe it or not, these guns only weigh at about 11, 12 pounds. They're not as heavy as people think they are.
Nice.
I mean, there's AR-10s that are heavier than these.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we did cut it down pretty good.
And how long is the barrel? 24-inch?
This one, yes, 24-inch.
And do you have different sizes that people different lengths available?
Yeah, so the Delta 5 Pro, we offer it in 308 6.5 Creedmoor and 6mm Creedmoor for the time being. The 308 is going to have a 24-inch 308 in
more
the
stuff coming at SHOT Show.
Yeah, just a little teaser here. And then the 26-inch 6.5 Creedmoor in the H Palma. Now, when you step up into the varmint barrels, we actually have two additional, lengths on them. So they're actually going to be a 26 and a 28-inch varmint. So it's longer and heavier. And then the 6mm Creedmoor is also going to be a 26-inch. But yeah, they're tack drivers. Like Jason said, we guarantee these guns half MOA out of the box with factory ammo.
And these are the ones you're going to take to Mammoth, right?
Correct.
I've got a black one of these in 308 sitting in a rucksack right now at my house.
And I have one that looks just like this, but it's OD green.
OD
Literally, same gun, just different color.
6.5 Creedmoor?
Yep.
So you're going to shoot the 6.5, you're going to shoot the 308 at this competition?
One of you has to shoot a NATO cartridge. So one of you has to run 308 or 5.56.
That's part of the rules. I got you.
Yep.
Very nice. So do you get to spot each other?
Depends on the stage.
So they got different rules on that too.
There was a stage where we weren't allowed to talk to each other last year.
Nope. All sign language. You have to point and hope he knows exactly what you're saying.
Are you like,
Yeah, pretty much.
One thing we didn't touch on, there's QD points all over this chassis system as well. So if you are wanting to run a sling or something like that, or a lot of guys are throwing game changer bags onto a QD.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got QD points all over this thing. You can. There's a ton of variability in here. If you want to throw a monopod or something on the bottom, there's even M-lock down here.
Keep mind of these 2 screws from SHOT Show.
There's things coming.
Two screws down at the bottom of the buttstock he's showing me there for you people who aren't watching the video. And then I guess you guys can run your can on this.
Yep.
You can.
Yeah. So you can't just run our can. You can run any of them. The coolest part about this Area 419 muzzle device here.
Oh, look what you just did.
It's a self-timing muzzle device. So you actually mount up their adapter. They actually sell, they don't make one for the Wave right now, but Dead Air, Silencer Co., all those guys, you can actually get an adapter to put your can on essentially an Area 419 adapter and mount it directly to that device right there. So you self-time it. You don't have to sit there with shims and everything else. I mean,
and you just hand tighten it.
Yep.
I love that.
And like Nate's saying, like you can put that adapter on there. Now you're not messing with shims. You're not trying to time a muzzle device. It's almost like making a QD a direct.
And you can put that on any gun, right? They make it for any ARs or any.
Oh yeah,
dude, I got an Area 419 because I was sitting here this week. I've got brakes that I want to change out to put my can on, and I'm just like. Because I got, when I put them on, I'm like, I don't plan on taking them off. But, shit happens, and then you're like, I want to change that up for whatever reason. But, yeah, I love that. I love that design. That is awesome.
That is the Delta 5 in a nutshell.
I mean, this rifle is awesome, man. It's one of the only barrels. A lot of guys, if you do see the barrel up close, we're not going to be able to get that thing on camera. But it actually never hits a lathe or anything like that when it comes out of the hammer forge.
Yeah.
They're what we call forged to contour. So you're not just hammering the steel out and then milling it down to where you want it. That thing is guaranteed to be within 1/1000 straightness from chamber to the tip of the muzzle.
That's awesome. I love
it. And
it.
if it isn't, it literally gets chunked in the scrap bin. They don't even try and rework them. That's for every barrel we make. We've had manufacturers come in here and see some of the barrels that we're scrapping, and they're like, that's better than the best barrel I'm going to put on my product, or I can put on my product.
And we're going to hit it with a chop saw and throw it in the pincher.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing, too, when we were going through there. I was seeing your dump bins, and I was like, what's wrong with that? I was like, what's wrong with it? I was like, don't throw it away. I'll take it. But you guys actually recycle your stuff, too, so that's...
Yeah. Every bit of steel and aluminum, all the shavings from the CNCs, that all goes back to a recycler. It's not cheap stuff. The steel we use is not, you can't go to Lowe's and buy the steel we're putting into these guns. So
some of the steel takes us years to get, actually, because it's such a proprietary blend.
And you get that, is that in America here, or you get that from overseas?
I'd say most of it's American. There's a handful of the steels that we can only get overseas. The biggest thing that actually people don't think about is the Mandrel for the hammer forge.
Yeah,
it comes from Germany.
Gotcha.
Costs about $7,000 to $8,000 for a little piece of metal that's about this long. No bigger than my pinky finger.
Now, those machines that you guys have, and you got hundreds of millions of dollars into those CNC machines that you guys have there.
The two that have in the facility that you saw, those are $2 million pop. $2 million pop.
Yeah, I was just sitting there.
That's paying for the person. It takes, I think, almost another mil just for train up. It's expensive just to train an operator to run that machine.
Yeah, and he was telling me that there are a couple of machines there that you only have like 2 people that can operate them at this point in time. I was like,
well, I promise you, Marty Daniel takes very good care of them.
oh yeah. That's what Frank was saying. Yeah, he said those guys right there do pretty well.
Yeah, we've got a whole team of in-house tool makers. You can't buy fixturing off the shelf to hold our parts the way we want. So there's a whole section of the floor that
just making
those guys
tools.
make everything from the racks that hold the guns all the way to the chuck that's holding your upper receiver in the CNC. I mean,
that's things that people don't really talk about or think about, when they get their gun, or the actual what it takes to make this gun. And, they'll start bitching and moaning about prices, but, going through that factory and seeing everything that they go through and, the machines that make them, it's like, I don't see how you're in business. You should charge more.
We pay a lot of money, but if you want quality, you got to pay for quality. So
that's true. And let's talk about your ARs now. Since you don't do AKs, we'll talk about your ARs.
An American firearm? No, I'm joking.
Oh, it's becoming more and more American.
Yeah, it is.
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe that's something at SHOT Show that you guys. So you go ahead and just bring out the haymaker.
This is the one everyone likes seeing. So this is our unicorn.
This has got the grenade launcher on it. Nice.
That is the GLSSC. So there was 125
there you
these
go.
rail systems made. We sent 100 of them to the very specific unit that ordered them. We kept one of them, and 24 were sold on the civilian market. So yeah, if you ever find one of these, that stands for Grenade Launcher Sound Suppressor Capable. So this is actually a 12.5-inch barrel. Can you grab that, SOCOM?
Yeah.
So yeah, this was the shortest rail we could get them to still run an M203. This is free floated. That's part of what makes the RIS-2 rail what it is and why it was the contract winner. Is that this barrel with this M203 on it is still completely free floated. That means from the barrel nut forward, nothing is touching this barrel. But you can still get the same gap in your suppressor with this rail. So
nice.
If you find one of these, call me. I'll buy it.
Yeah, right.
Like $6,000 because they're ridiculously expensive.
No, so for lack of a better term, ARs are our bread and butter. Our bolt gun is doing great, but what made this company is the RIS-2 rail and our AR pattern guns. I mean, we make really, really nice ARs that are gonna work. So all mil spec, like Jason said, all from forgings. This is not a great example because it's not our.
It's a unicorn, Not your everyday Joe's going to get one of those,
Everybody wants to see the GLSS.
But I appreciate you showing that. That's awesome.
But yeah, I mean,
the big brother to the guy he's just holding.
Something that is commercially available would be our M4A1, right? So 14.5-inch carbine length gas, pinned and welded muzzle device on there. It's going to have that M4A1 RIS-2 rail. This is something other than the fact that this lower doesn't rotate one more time. This is pretty much exactly what SOCOM's getting still to this day. So this is, and we talked about the history of the company. Marty, when he made the bid, when he created this rail system, SOCOM said they wanted it, but he didn't have the credit limit to, get the contract. And his family legitimately put the family farm up as collateral to raise his credit limit and get him what he needed.
So they literally bet the farm.
Bet the farm.
I love it.
And they won the contract, and it's an IDIQ. We are still shipping to this day these rail systems and these whole uppers to SOCOM and Crane and everybody else. Our barrels, our gas blocks. It was really what launched us from, a cool company that made a really good, accessories and things like that into what we are now.
Yeah.
But
From
yeah,
a garage business to a legit corporation.
So firearms that keep guys like myself safe overseas, because I used an M4A1.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about your backgrounds coming up. We're going to do that.
Oh no, but yeah, I mean,
you're not getting out of the new guy questions.
now just like the Delta 5 Pro, all of our AR barrels are going to be cold hammer forged. All but the Mark 12 are also going to be chrome lined. We offer them anywhere from 10.3 inches all the way out to an 18-inch for 5.56. Now we've got the PDW that we had up here. That's been our hot little 300 blackout, little 7-inch barrel. That one's fun. If you got a can, that's a fun rifle.
Oh yeah, I love 300 blackout. That's my round. That's my jam. I dig it. So was that the one that you guys started with? That Marty started with was the M4A1.
It was the actual rail that was on that rifle.
Just that rail system. So we didn't make our first gun until 2009. A full firearm.
Yeah.
You have a V1 over there?
Yeah.
So
if you guys aren't on the video yet, you got to go to the video because this is like the best gun porn episode I've ever done. I love this.
Yeah.
So this was the first version of a DD rifle. In fact, this is one of the first rifles that were created.
Got the newer rail.
Yeah, it's got one of the newer rails on it, but it was a 16-inch barreled rifle with a front sight base, which is actually a DD front sight base. It replaced the old FSB A2s. So now, I don't know if you can see it. I'll kind of move it here. It's got like more of a scallop cut.
Yeah.
Because in the past, a lot of guys held this gun. They would rest their thumb on that front sight base.
Yeah.
It gives you more of a texture other than that flat ridge
to
work with. And it kind of bevels in with your thumb as well.
Yeah, I see that. I like that. Are they still making those? Are you guys still making those?
We are. We're still making the V1. So, when they first came out, it was our barrels and our rails and things like that, but it had, an A2 pistol grip and a Magpul stock on it. We've since started, we've got all of our own furniture, that rubber over molded furniture. Some guys like it, some guys don't.
I personally like it.
I don't run our pistol grips because my hands, it doesn't fit right. I love our stocks because I don't have a beard. I can't grow one.
Sorry to myself over here.
But no, so now we're still making the V1.
Hey Nate, check it out.
I know. Look, again, I was a fireman. They only let me grow a mustache, and I can't grow that either. So.
Well, you're only like 12, so you still got some growing to do.
I'm 12 with 74-year-old knees. Yeah.
Oh, welcome to the club, brother. Hips. Yeah. I got 80-year-old hips. So the DDM that's the designation for your ARs, right? The DDMs.
DDM4 is going to be our 5.56 300 blackout, and we do make a 6.8 SPC Hunter. Is more of a hunting cartridge. We don't sell a ton of them. That's more of a niche gun. But yeah DDM4 is going to be our small frame AR-15s. DD5 is going to be our large caliber. So 308, 6.5 Creedmoor, 260 Remington in a gas gun, 16, 18, and 20-inch barrels. So those are. And
then you get into the Vs. So what are?
Yep.
So DD
V1. Yeah, V1 front sight base Picatinny rail. You've got right now we're not making the V11 was our key mod rail. That's been discontinued. So now you got our single most popular is going to be just a V7,
which we've got quite a handful of them sitting right here.
Yeah, I want to see a V7 because that's what you guys are kind of featuring these days. Is that the most recent version that you've got, the V7, the newest?
Yes. Yeah. So of our full size rifles, the PDW is kind of a separate standalone family. A lot of people don't understand from buttstock to the receiver. It's pretty much all going to be the same gun.
Okay.
It's going to have our ambidextrous grip and rip charging handle. It's going to have our ambi safety on it. It's going to have our furniture. What really makes the difference when we start talking about V, V1, V7, V9, V11, it's going to be your rail system and your barrel length and gas system length. V7 are all going to have M-LOK. V9 is going to be Picatinny. The V11s, again, were all key mod. V1 was the Picatinny with the front sight base.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that does get confusing. I worked in a gun shop for a while there, and guys would be like, okay, what it's a V7239. I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to break this one down, Barney style. But they're all gonna have our cold hammer forged barrels in them, and they've been pretty awesome. But yeah, this V7 is our single most popular rifle that we make. Still are just killing it. So right behind that would be that M4A1 we showed.
Yeah.
A little bit different use case.
So you guys aren't selling lowers,
Nope.
but you sell uppers. So I'm assuming that any standard mil spec lower, you're going to be able to pop your uppers on
100%. Yeah, 100%. So that's been a point of contention. I work here and I can't even buy a DD lower. So we're not special, but there is a reason behind it. And part of that is that warranty we talked about.
Uh-huh.
So Marty Daniel never wanted his name on something that he didn't really control how it was built. And then if you threw a strip lower out there and somebody blows it up at the range, well, was it our gun or was it one he built and blew up? Do we warranty that or not?
Yeah.
So he made the decision not to, and as much as I hate it.
So you can either have a half Daniel defense or you can have a whole Daniel defense.
100%. You can have a 1/10 Daniel defense. You
yeah.
can throw our pistol grip on there.
Well, yeah. I'm just talking about as far as, if I wanted to build a Daniel defense rifle myself, then the best I can do is an upper, everything but the lower receiver, basically.
Yep.
I wouldn't be able to do that.
You can't get that nice DD roll mark on there.
So talk about your receivers. Talk about your lower receivers. Is there anything special or different that you guys are doing with your lower receivers that you can talk about?
So, I mean, for all intents and purposes, they're a mil spec lower. Now, there's a couple of small things. Some of our guns now, depending on which one you're getting and what parts we have available, we've got something like our improved mag catch there. A lot more surface area, let you send your bolt home when you go, run empty. You're going to have a flared mag well. I know it's hard to pick up on camera, but you've got a nice bevel in your mag well. It lets you helps you out loading, reloading on an empty mag a little quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Again, other than that, it's going to have just, standard ambi safety.
Let me see the front of the mag well.
So it's just going to be a standard mag well. Right?
Okay, I thought I saw serrations there for a second, but yeah, you got a flared.
Yep.
Yeah, you can see the flare real good there. I like that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, other than that, it's not really
that mat or the bolt drop. You can buy that and put it on any mil spec lower, right? Or do you guys sell that?
We don't sell that as a standalone
bolt
component. No. So there's some stuff we don't sell as an individual item. You're talking about uppers. You can't buy this PDW as just an upper. Now, part of the reason for that is this gun is actually built with this Maxim Defense stock or brace if you were to get the pistol variant.
Yeah.
We built and tuned that gun with this buffer system. It is a Maxim system. So we couldn't guarantee that it would run
with somebody else's buffer.
Yeah.
If we can't prove it through testing, we don't sell it in that way. We don't like putting our name on it. Or Marty doesn't like putting his name on it, I should say.
Well, you are Daniel Defense. I mean, it's the people that make up the company, and I'm sure Marty would agree with that too.
Marty, yeah, he has cultivated a really, really awesome group of folks out here that work here. I'm
say so yourself.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I think they're too degenerates over here.
How did they give you clearance to do this show anyway? I've hung out with you guys.
Hey, now, just because we're that good.
You're just that down. You are good. You guys know your shit, and it definitely shows. So, is there anything else that we can talk about that you guys have? Anything new other than what we've already talked about? That I know you got some things coming down the road. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you can hint towards that.
January is going to be a busy month for new product, and I think Jake or Amy touched on it. We really have done a lot of stuff for the Delta 5 Pro platform, but we're not forgetting about our ARs. by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, I guess the best way, there's a lot of really, really cool stuff that should be coming out in the coming few months.
Yeah.
For every one of our platforms, and even some potential new platforms.
Nice.
That Marty, you know what we're talking about. So
I know what you're talking about. I definitely know what you're talking about.
You have seen.
And I know that our listeners are going to be very excited about that.
Yeah. So,
but we'll talk about that when it comes out.
There's a lot of stuff coming. Again, we're talking about the volume of people here. I mean, there's an entire department that all they do all day is come up with cool ideas for a new something, whether it's a new part or an entire new gun. And they take it from a thought to a prototype to, hey, let's test it and see.
Or maybe a new piece of apparel that one of our lucky listeners is going to be able to get several, or maybe one. I mean, depending on the price, you're going to have 250 bones to be able to spend on their web store, lead heads. So before we get to our listener questions, I want to hit you guys with the new guy, and sometimes a girl. Questions. If your name's Amy Winehouse. Jake. I don't think I hit Jake with these questions. I can't remember. I don't think I did. I might hit him with one or two. But so we do this thing whenever there's a new guest on the show who's never been on before. We like to get to know you a little bit better. And we do it through some just quick, and you guys haven't prepared for these. You don't know what the questions are going to be. Maybe unless you listen to some previous episodes. But I've added a few too, so I'm going to catch you off guard.
What you say.
Yeah. So we've kind of alluded and talked about it a little bit, but you've got some military, some first responder backgrounds between the two of you, firefighter, EMT. If you want to talk about your other, you can, Nate. I'll leave that up to you. So Army Ranger, Jason, talk about how you got into the military.
So ironically, I come from a military family background. Grandfather's fought in World War II. I actually had two great uncles on my grandmother's side. Her two brothers were German military fighters during World War II, so they fought for Germany. The family originated from that era. They moved over during that time frame. So got really big into shooting as a kid. My great uncle and my uncle were both Marines. One was in the Pacific, came back. Parents decided they were going to have another kid after he was long gone out of the house. And most people don't know, but Major Edward Land wrote Marine Corps Scout Sniper Doctrine. Yep, relative. Learned a lot at shoot. Kind of got a little bit of slack for not joining the Marine Corps and being a sniper there. I was like, well, I guess, I was burnt out in high school. Kind of like I was one of those kids that was really good with grades. Dad pushed real hard on it. Mm-hmm. He never graduated, but very humble man, kind of like Nate's grandfather, worked his butt off, gave me the best life I could ever have as a kid. And I will 100% respect him, and he'll be my hero for it for the rest of my life. And I try to project that towards my kid, side note.
Awesome.
But I joined the military, went in the Army instead. The recruiter that I talked to was a former 375, so 3rd Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment guy. He's like, hey, man, if you're going to join, Ranger's the way to go. It's a good stepping stone into the military, especially because it's special operations.
Right.
So he gave me an option 40 contract. Found myself, once I was in the military, went through basic, went through airborne school, went to RASP. I actually went to the RASP class where it had transitioned right from RIP to RASP. It used to be the Ranger Indoctrination program. The problem was it was about a 4-week program where they just basically beat you down, and just to see if they basically weeded out weakness.
Yeah.
If you couldn't hang, you couldn't hang. So they started realizing, okay, our mission sets are starting to get a lot more ramped up and a lot more technical, and we're sending these guys into these battalions that have no knowledge of our SOPs whatsoever. So they created RAS, Ranger Assessment and Selection Program, and it became an 8-week course. Depending on the time frame, I got unlucky, caught there in the Thanksgiving breaks.
And the transition.
Yeah, so I got 8 weeks of what was RIP, now it was RASP. But in that time frame, you learn, firearm tactics, demolitions, combatives, the tactics in which you're going to use when you get to your unit. Graduated, went straight to 1st Ranger Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment here in Savannah, Georgia, 2011, and then started deploying. I spent 4 years on the line, made it all the way up to team leader. E5, and then transitioned over to the sniper section. And I spent the last 6 years of my career there last 4 years. I keep counting in some contracting stuff afterwards.
Yeah, did a little contracting.
I spent the last 4 years there as a sniper. Got to go to quite a few awesome schools for that. I was a Ranger School graduate, not to confuse Ranger School and RASP. There are two Rangers. A lot of people don't understand that Ranger School gives you a Ranger tab, and you're Ranger qualified. You actually have to go through a selection to become a Special Operations Ranger. So it's kind of a sore subject for some of us guys, as Nate's over here laughing. Because a lot of people call themselves Rangers. It's like, no, man, you're Ranger qualified. You weren't really a Ranger. It's a prestige thing. Very small-knit community. Once I got out, I had a decision to make. I was getting real close to that 10-year mark. And usually in the military, if anybody's ever served, you're at that moment where it's either, do I transition to do something else in life, or do I just ride my time out and retire in the military? Well, the war kind of started dying down. I was kind of in, I wouldn't say the heyday, but I was still in there where it was good and the good fighting was going on. Mm-hmm. And then I transitioned out and decided to do some federal contracting. We're going to, leave it at that. I'll leave it up to your imagination. Did that for a couple years.
Security detail?
Something like that.
Something like that.
I'll put it this way. Have you ever seen the movie 13 Hours? That was the job. Yeah. Obviously, that's worst case scenario, and thankfully, I never had to experience it in that worst case scenario.
Yeah.
But there were a few sketchy moments in life where I was like, "Ooh, this might be it, boys."
You ever met any of those guys?
Yeah, I did. I met Tonto.
Yep.
Guy that
Chris.
Chris.
He's been on the show a couple times. Yeah.
He's a good guy. Like him.
Yeah, he is.
Obviously, I got to meet him. He's a Ranger, so.
Right. He's a nut.
Have a lot of respect for those guys. Back to that whole hero thing. They did something they didn't have to do, and they caught a lot of slack from it. The movie kind of depicts that.
Yeah.
That situation. That isn't just a movieism. They did catch a lot of slack, but they took it up and they're like, "Hey, no, we're not just going to stand by and let Americans lose their lives. So we're going to step up." So I give a lot of those guys respect for that.
Yeah.
And then so I left. Main reason, just kind of family reasons, really. Kind of got in a little bit of an injury, kind of stopped me from being able to deploy out with the guys. And then my kid started getting older. At this time, he had already turned 3. Was kind of getting ready to turn 4. Started having more conversations with me. He made that transition from being all about mama to daddy. And I was like, okay, I've been doing this for roughly 11, almost 12 years now. I need to really reconsider what I'm doing with my life because I want to be a part of his life. And so our director of commercial sales here, Jim Ross, great guy, former Ranger as himself.
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, man, you want to come work at DD?" I was like, "Dude, that's actually a really cool offer. Yeah, I'll do whatever I need to interview."
Hell yeah.
Do it. So I was like, man, the same gun that I've been using since basically 2010, all the way through contracting, and has kept me out of some sticky situations. And now I get to work for that company.
So
it's really
help protect your life and others. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
So that's kind of where I'm at now.
I was going to ask, of those years that you served, how many of those did you use the DD?
From day one, I had an M4A1,
really?
And then we transitioned to the Mark 18 uppers, the 10.3s. We called them shorties just because it was easy that way.
Yeah.
But yep, always used a DD. I mean, we had Colt lowers for some. When we started transitioning, we started phasing those Colt lowers out.
Yeah. And
going to full DD rifles. But yeah, I always had.
Do you use it in contracting too?
I used a full-on DD Mark 18 when I was contracting.
In contracting, nice.
Yep.
And obviously you still have that.
No, they were company.
Oh, they were? They didn't.
I do own quite a few.
Oh, I'm
DD
sure.
Groups, so does Nate. So, yeah. And I bought those prior to actually working. I bought a few things since working for DD.
Yeah.
But I do have my own personal guns that I've bought in the past. So
it'd be cool if you still had that. The one that you.
I still have a few things. We'll keep that up.
Yeah. Very cool. So Nate, how detailed do you want to get with yours? You want to stick with the firefighter?
We'll throw it all in there, man.
All right, let's do it, man. I like it. No holds barred, baby. Let's do it.
So prior to coming to Daniel Defense, I was a firefighter EMT for 12 years. Worked for a couple of different departments. My most recent was about 8 years with the Athens-Clarke County Fire Department in Athens, Georgia. We went to every UGA game, so that was not fun at all. But had a great time with those guys. You know, a really good department. Made it up to corporal there, full-time driver for the most part. You know, tons of fun that way. There's a lot more medical, but I actually got into firefighting back in college because I ran out of Hope Scholarship money and had to get a job.
That damn old Hope Scholarship. That's a lottery, isn't it?
Yep.
The lottery money.
You have to keep your grades up above a certain percent.
What you're saying is you were slacking.
100%.
The partying caught up to you. Hey, man, I feel you. My first 3 years of college.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. But no, I started as a volunteer in college. Really fell in love with it. You know, that sense of service. I had intended on enlisting in the Marine Corps right out of college. Again, following my grandfather's footsteps. My mother quickly told me that she would kill me and disown me if I didn't go to college. So I did the next best thing and became a fireman.
There you go.
And then actually had the opportunity just during my sophomore year and did the officer candidate program for the Marine Corps. So went to Quantico, did that shebang.
That's a great experience, though, man.
It was great.
Getting to go to Quantico.
Biggest regret is not taking that commission, but it has brought me to where I am today. I've got a wonderful wife. I got 2 little girls. I can't complain.
You're set.
But it is a regret. But in typical Marine Corps fashion, I got out of college and young, dumb, and in love, and she said, "No, please don't go," and I said, "Okay." So,
Okay.
And I'm not married to her, so yeah, you know.
You're not married to her. That's
no.
Never mind. I'm not gonna say
it. Yeah, so did the firefighter EMT thing for, again, 12 years. Like most firemen, had a side job because you need 2 jobs when you work for a fire department. And I ended up working at a gun shop out of Athens, Georgia, Clyde Armory. It's actually one of the larger DD dealers.
Nice.
And I got to come out here as an employee of that gun shop and do what we call Daniel Defense University. Where we take in retailers from all across the country and train their sales associates on our product. We put them through an armorer's course. They get to meet everybody. They've all got our cell phone numbers. If you got a customer that's got a question, call us. We'll help. So I got to know Jim Ross and these guys here. And about a year after that, kind of the same to Jason, he called me and he said, "Hey man, I have a sales spot open. You wanna leave the fire department and come work for me?" And about 2 weeks later, I packed up my truck and moved down to Savannah while my wife and kid were there to sell the house. So
there you go. Probably got more for it since you weren't there.
Probably. It was, no, I'm the clean one, man. The toddler's a tornado. So.
Is that what it is? Very good. So great background stories there. Love that. So in your time of service, both of you, and thank you for your service, both of you. Sincerely mean that. Pick one story that comes to mind that, just a good, funny story. We don't want to get into the gory stuff.
I'll start with mine because it's a funny one at me. And if anyone's in public safety, they'll cringe, laugh, and then cry a little.
Yeah.
But
because with that many years of service, man, I mean, you've seen some stuff. So,
let's do the fun stuff. We'll do the fun.
Let's do the fun stuff. Yeah, and that's what I mean.
The bad brain movies. We don't want to.
Yeah, we don't want to.
Maybe some Jackwagon stories or something like that.
Yeah. No,
I can't believe it story kind of deal.
Yeah. No. Well, this was an I can't believe this happened to me story. So I was driving one of our rescue trucks one night. Got a call to one far end of the county, and I had a junior firefighter riding with me. It was just us 2. We got a call right after that to the opposite end of the county. It was a bit of a tote. It is about 3:00 in the morning, and I made the wrong turn off the exit of the highway.
Wrong turn, Clyde.
Yeah. So as a driver, that's, number one.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, let's get back on the right road here. So as I'm on the crossroad trying to get back to the right road where no one would ever know I made a wrong turn and, just shame on me.
And you're driving one of those big, giant
our rescue
fire
truck
engines.
it was like a Chevy Kodiak 5500 with a big old, almost like a utility box on the back.
Yeah.
It had all the jaws of life, as people call it, and medical gear and stuff. But
Gotcha.
Anyway.
Still a big rig, try to turn around.
Vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I made about halfway through the cut-through road, and the fan went through the radiator, and I broke the truck and had to go on the radio and tell them that I was broken down on the wrong road, and they had to come tow me and get someone else to go on the call. So that was fun. That was real fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't hear about that one at all for the next couple of years.
No. Did you get a nickname from that?
No, but they started putting, like the coloring book maps, and they had the little kids map that you put Matchbox cars on. They taped that to my windshield of my truck one day and told me to study the streets. So, good times.
I dig it. Jason's over there like, how do I top that one?
Yeah, I don't know if I can top that one. I don't know if I'm going to pull one on myself or talk about somebody else. It's so hard because when you get thrown on the spot, you're like, oh, man, I can't think of anything. But if you're just sitting here having casual conversations.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Rambling them off. We used to do this. Ranger battalions, they do this thing called Ranger Rendezvous. And it's where if a battalion, all the battalions come together to have a change of command ceremony for the regimental commander and sergeant major. So, they're the two highest in the regiment. So, and it's usually like a week-long event. They have all kinds of different like sports and games. Like there's soccer, football, there's MMA fighting, wrestling, stuff like that. It's just a battalion against battalion kind of thing, camaraderie build.
Yeah.
They bring in, outside vendors to do like shows, and they test your abilities and skills and your NCO duties and your ranger abilities or skill sets. And of course, every night, all the dudes are getting together because you've got friends all across the country that are in these battalions that you went through RASP with or you've stayed in contact with the whole time. And we were staying on Fort Benning. We had gone downtown. We had hit Scruffy Murphy's in Columbus, Georgia, Cannon Brew Pub. And this was when I was in the sniper section. And we get back, and at the time, our platoon sergeant, he was he was an old school gray beard sort of guy. Didn't obviously have a beard because, I have to stay clean shaven. Could get really grouchy sometimes.
Yeah.
He's just one of those guys. And the first thing he tells us when we leave, he's like, you better make formation in the morning and do not wake me up when you come in. Right. So we're coming up. We have this guy that's with us. I'm not going to say his name. And we're all we're wasted. Like, I don't even know how we made it up the 4 flights of stairs in the building to get to the rooms we're staying in. And he's like, dude, I have to take a piss. And we're like, just hold it. We're almost there. And you know how it is if you've been drunk. If you got to piss, you got to piss.
Oh, yeah.
So we're sitting there. We're trying to get up these flights of stairs. And we got to keep going through these double doors and these double doors. Well, some people had blocked the doors because they were having hallway parties.
Yeah.
And they don't want anybody to obstruct them, right? So we make it up to the 4th floor. We're standing there, and then this guy just disappears. And we're like, holy crap. Where'd he go? Like, he's got to piss. So, and the bathroom is on the other end of this hallway because we're in a barracks building. So we're like, where did he go? There's no way in the world in the 10 seconds that we turned around that he made it to the bathroom. All of a sudden, you just hear this loud, like, what the F are you doing? And it's not like a yell. It's just like one of those like terrifying, like stern voices.
Yeah.
This guy, literally, you can hear him through the hallway, turns around and looks at our platoon sergeant, the guy that literally told us, hey, make sure you make formation. Don't wake me up. He's pissing in his locker, the platoon sergeant's locker where all his gear is and his helmet that he has. And he's like, I'm peeing in the urinal, sergeant. Like, what? He's like, why are you sleeping in the bathroom? And he's like, dude, this is my room. And he wound up pissing all over that dude's equipment. So obviously we didn't leave him alone for a few days afterwards.
Yeah, he was in a little bit of trouble, no doubt.
Yeah. So that's always a good funny one for me. I'm like, man, that could have been any of us, but thank God it was you and not me.
Yeah. All right, so this next question. What's your earliest recollection of shooting a firearm?
Grandfather. So my grandpa, talking about Holland Hitch.
Scooch in a little closer. Y'all are like somebody fart or something?
No, it's hot in here. There's no AC in the vault.
Oh shit! Sorry,
No, that's not that bad. It's just trying to keep a little space.
Yeah, that company Holland Hitch ended up at one point having a sportsman's lodge that my grandfather helped them build. So it was 30,000 acres out in South Carolina, skeet stands, hunting, everything.
Nice.
Well, from the time I can remember, we'd go out there, and I remember vividly being, I don't know, probably 7. And he said, hey, come here. Yes, sir. Handed me a 12 gauge, sat me down, and sent the thrower and threw a clay up. And I missed terribly, but from then on, it was, that's our thing.
Did you hold on to it though? You didn't drop it?
He was, I'm little as is.
Yeah.
I didn't drop it.
He's helping you a little bit?
Yeah, it about dropped me.
Yeah. Starting you off with a 12 gauge. Damn.
Well, he was
Yeah,
real big on the you learn stuff the hard way.
Right.
That's how I learned. So
Start big.
Yep. So, but no, always grew up shooting with him. And we still, to this day, when I go visit him, the first thing he does is makes me go downstairs to his gun vault and oil and clean his M1 Garand. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Every time.
I bet he's got a nice collection.
Just a few.
Yeah. How about you, Jason?
Probably 7 or 8. At that time, a lot of my buddies had like the old school Red Ryder BB guns back when they were actually good.
Yeah.
They weren't those little like whatever we got nowadays. I wanted a BB gun. For some reason, my grandfather and dad thought it would be a great idea to start me off with a 1903 Springfield.
Okay.
So,
Again, go big, right?
I was wanting a BB gun to, you're going to shoot this full-size 30-06 rifle, and not only are you going to shoot it, before you can shoot anything else, you got to shoot a milk jug at 100 yards. So obviously it took me a couple years to dial that in, and I got to shoot other guns in between.
So was that like a prerequisite before they would get you a BB gun? Is you had to hit this milk jug?
Yeah, pretty much. He was like, you're going to learn how to shoot. Like, you're not just going to get a gun and have a gun. You're going to know how to use
Earn
this
it.
gun.
You got to earn it.
So I remember the first
that.
time I shot that 1903, I was sitting on a milk crate because we had abundance of milk crates for some reason.
Apparently shooting milk jugs and crates.
I had a little tub or like a little table. It actually was like one of those old steel tubs.
Yeah.
That was stacked up on, I don't remember what it was stacked on. And I was resting the gun on it. And I remember pulling the trigger, holding onto the gun, and literally just falling over from recoil. It just threw my little butt clean off that crate, basically. And they just died laughing. And
did you hit the milk jug?
No, I did not.
Oh, so when did you finally get?
I think like 4 or 5 months. I finally got it, and ironically, I probably couldn't pull the shot off again if I wanted to. I shot in between the handle and the jug itself, and I skimmed the jug, but they counted it as a hit. So I was like, yes, I could get my BB gun. And I showed my dad. Yeah, literally the next day we went to. I remember going to Walmart.
Nice. Now, do you still have that Red Ryder?
I do.
I'm
afraid to give it to my kid though, because like I said, it's not the Red Ryder that we use today. So
I don't have mine.
I don't know how I still have it, to be honest with you. As many times as I've moved and we've had our house broken into when I was a kid, and I had guns stolen, and somehow I managed to get them back. I don't know how. But that BB gun it's been a constant in my life.
It's an heirloom, yeah. Yeah, it's a family heirloom. You can pass it down. That's awesome. I love that.
I even got the 1903 too.
What was the very first gun that you bought that you say, I bought this, it's my own, that you bought for yourself?
Weatherby Vanguard 270 with a Tasco 3 to 9x40 scope on top.
You remember that to the nines, baby. You still have it, don't you?
That is still my deer rifle, and it's still got the scope on it.
Nice, the Tasco.
Hey, look, I bought it for like $200 at a pawn shop when I was 16. My mom had to sign for it with my money, and yeah, that is still my deer rifle.
Pride
to this
and joy.
Day. I can't get rid of it now.
No, that's going to be a hand-me-down. It's going to be an heirloom, man. I love that.
For me, I'd say the first rifle that I bought, me personally, kind of similar to Nate. I had a 22 I got when I was 16, but I didn't pay for it. I paid for it, but it was a gift to me. I was just giving the money to the person.
Sure. Straw man purchase. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I didn't know I was giving the money for the gun.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, we're going to get you a gift, but we need this amount of money. So I worked my butt off, got the money, gave it to my parents, and then Christmas rolled around. I got a 22 rifle.
Sweet.
So technically I paid for it, and they told me. But the first gun I bought the day I turned 18 on October 12th, I woke up that morning and drove to Walmart and bought a Savage Axis 308 with that little bitty Bushnell 3x9 scope on it.
Yeah.
And to this day, I have guns in my safe that cost me anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. If I go on a hunting trip, you best believe I'm pulling that 308 out of that safe.
Does it still have that optic on it?
It sure does, and I will not change it. Just like you said, I pull it out to zero it before deer season. Even if I don't use it, it still holds zero. It could be a fluke, grace of God, I don't know. And it'll be the gun I pass down to my kid when he gets older.
That's awesome. I love that.
Jason was there. We went to my farm probably a month ago. I brought that 270 out, sent one round of Remington Core Lock 270, hit right in the middle at 100. I was like, we're good. Put it back in the case.
Yep, I was shooting that Winchester.
Give it a little rub. That's my baby. That's my baby.
That's it.
I've actually had that gun stolen twice.
And you got it back?
Twice, yep. Both times. Before we moved into the house my senior year that my dad and them still in now, it got stolen. And then my senior year, I was overseas, came back, got a phone call from the local county sheriff. He's like, hey, can you meet? We need to talk. And I'm like, no, sir, I cannot. I'm in Savannah, Georgia, and I'm about to actually leave for training. I'm in the military. And he's like, well, we just recovered 2 of your firearms, and it was a 30-06 and a 308, that 308, which is rare because my dad's old school, so we have a lot of like gun cabinets, like the nice glass case cabinets. And out of all the guns that are in those cabinets, I mean, M1 Garands, 1903 Springfields, very nice, the over-under shotguns, they still, that 308 and that 30-06.
And they just took 2. They didn't take everything.
They didn't take anything else. Like the case that they had to open to get those 2 guns.
I mean, it just goes to show you that thieves are idiots. Criminals are idiots.
Just blew my mind. But yeah, I was fortunate enough to get them back twice. I had to go to the courthouse twice in Brandon, Mississippi.
That makes them even more special.
I've never even shot that 30-06 actually. Sitting in the safe right now. I gave it to a buddy. He took it to Vermont, killed a nice whitetail with it. Other than that, never shot it.
Well, it has been proven though, so that's good.
Yeah, it's been proven.
Been tested and proven. All right, when it comes to pop culture, what is your go-to? And typically I leave it like gun related, but it could be just what do you like to do just to kick back and relax? What's your go-to, whether it's a movie, TV show, music, maybe a podcast these days, a YouTube channel or something? What's your go-to that you like to just kind of your guilty pleasure?
It's funny you mentioned the podcast thing because as I've gotten older, I've realized I don't watch as much TV as I used to. Like I don't have cable at my house. I have like Hulu and Netflix and all that stuff. But,
streaming.
I listen to more podcasts than I do anything. But I think my go-to would be music in my car. Like hands down music in my car.
I think it's just your car. And we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about that.
And it's my son. Like when I went with that car, I've got my son with me. So it's like I'm trying to instill this like discipline or this respect that you should have of the things that you've earned and worked your butt off for. I don't want it to be one of those people that's just like
entitled,
whatever,
entitlement kind of shit. Yeah.
So yeah, I think music in my car.
So what music? What do you listen to?
Well,
what's your go-to jam, man?
Go-to jam? I listen to metal music, man.
All right.
I lived a life full of chaos, and for some reason, listening to screamo music just kind of calms me down. I can go to sleep to it.
Are you like headbanging, thrashing music, or Metallica kind of stuff?
Oh, I like Metallica too.
Okay.
I love Metallica.
All right.
Good band. Great band.
Well played, sir. Well played. I'll say I'm still music, and again, like Jason said, the older I've got, I have gotten way more into podcasts and stuff like that. So, it's 45 minutes for me to get to work every morning.
That's a podcast episode.
99% of the time, there is a podcast, usually industry related.
Yeah.
Going in the car the whole time. Just lets you kind of zone out. I know that's real nice to say, driving and zoning out.
That's kind of what music does to me when I listen to music, like on a long trip, is it zones me out. So that's why I like listening to like talk radio or podcast or something like that, or those comedy channels on the satellite kind of stuff.
I do that from time to time. If it's a long drive, I'll start listening to comedy.
Because the music is what kind of gets me zoned out, because it got that constant rhythm and you get in that and you're so I can relate to that definitely. So if you were going to watch a movie, what movie would you watch?
Top Gun, hands down.
Tombstone.
Tombstone. Okay. Well, dig it. So not Wyatt Earp, but Tombstone.
Oh yeah, Tombstone. I gotta have.
Isn't that weird how those two movies came out about the same time and they were about the same story, but Tombstone just blew it out of the water. Wyatt Earp was good though. I liked Wyatt Earp, but Tombstone just hands down.
So I've ironically been hanging out with new friends and stuff, and one of the people I hang out with is like all about post-apocalyptic movies. So like Mad Max, like the old school Mad Max, new school.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there talking to this person, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this," and I was like, "Have you ever seen Waterworld?" I was like, "How can you say you are an apocalyptic aficionado if you've never seen Waterworld?"
Do you like Waterworld?
No, not really. But
it's horrible. It's a horrible movie.
For some reason, I'm like, what do you? They like literally ripped off Mad Max. It just
on the water. Mad Max on the water. Yeah.
Hey, I would take Waterworld over. I've got a 4-year-old and a 7-month-old, so my entire house is nothing but Paw Patrol. And
we do
feel sorry for you. Yeah, I hate that.
Paw Patrol.
But again, Top Gun, one of my all-time favorite movies. Love that. I was at football camp when I was in high school. We went and watched that. So we got a movie night, and never seen any advertisement for it or any. Didn't even the Top Gun. What is this about? And we got in there. I was ready to sign up. I wanted to be a naval aviator, baby. Yep. I was ready to go, and that's what I had in mind from that point forward that I wanted to do. But they wouldn't take me because I didn't have 20/20 vision without correction. And at the time, they were very selective. So I was like, "Fuck it! If I can't do that, I don't want to do anything." So I went to college and got my aerospace degree.
There you go.
So, so we talk about movies, your music, we're cars. So let's just go ahead and get it over with because I want to talk about this car before we move on to the next questions. Because this is like your lifetime project here.
So
talk about your Mustang.
Yeah, so for those that are watching or listening,
I'm just scooting over here, ready.
Marty, they came down for the Big Daddy Unlimited Epic shoot here. And,
is there an Instagram page? Let me go to your Instagram. I can pull up pictures and show our video audience here. But go ahead and do what you're doing.
So I decided to drive the Mustang out there just because it's one of those cars you don't drive on a daily basis, and it's not that it's an old school Mustang by any means. It's a 2014 GT, got a Coyote 5 Gen 150 in it. Or at least the block's a Gen 150.
and do you want people to know your Instagram page?
Sure, by all means, let them have it.
What? No, go ahead, give it.
It is Sonic GT _ S197. And the reason why the S197's in there they're Sonic because my car's blue. Sonic's quick and fast. Car's quick and fast. Or at least I like to think so. And the body number for that car or that model number is S197.
So that's a logical. You put a lot of thought into that handle, that IG handle. So here it is.
There's some gun stuff in there.
There's some gun stuff in there, but this is the ride we're talking about here.
That Marty had a little bit of a privilege to ride in, I guess, if you want to call it a privilege or the ability.
I think it was. I would consider it a privilege, definitely, that you would let me in your ride and scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, it's super slow, right, Marty?
Oh man, if it was any slower, come on.
That's us in Mammoth last year.
Is that Mammoth?
Yeah, that's Mammoth. So yeah, it's more car related, but ever since I started working at DD and shooting, I kind of start posting more with the shooting. So a little bit of background on the car. I want an old school Mustang. I want an old school 90 or 68, 69 fastback.
Classics. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted a classic. And when I think of American muscle, you think of, Mustang and Camaro are Charger, right? Well, the Mustangs are typically a lot easier to get, and I just like the way the old school fastback looks. I mean, I grew up watching Steve McQueen movies, so
Bullet.
That Bullet Mustang, man, I loved it. So I looked, saved money, couldn't find an old school Mustang. I had a motor for it. I had everything. Came across this one. It was a used car. Guy sold it, had like 3,000 miles on it. That's where the orange and stuff came from. And it was kind of like, it's unique. I'll take it. I like the grabber blue. It's a very specific color to Ford.
Yeah.
That was an awesome feature by those guys, by the way. It's very hard to get posted. They kind of vet you really well. They actually sent somebody out to look at the car.
You're talking about this Mustangs and fast Fords?
Fords, yeah. So I was like, all right, cool. Well, I'm not going to settle, but I do still want a Mustang. So I bought 2014 GT, right? Well, I was like, well, I'm not going to keep it stock. I want a fast car. It looks fast. I want it to be fast. Well, I had all this extra money saved up for the old school car because I thought I was going to have to do a lot of restoration work.
Yeah.
Well, I got a new car. It doesn't require a lot of restoration work, right? And yeah, a little Mustang, a little Lego there. Yeah. So I get it. Start working on it. I'm an old school Ford motor guy. That's what I grew up on. I know how to work on them, carbureted engines, all that good stuff. And so I had a learning curve, and I was a little intimidated. And I met a neighbor of mine down the road, super huge Ford guy. Grew up in Detroit, Michigan. Dad worked for a Ford Motor Company. Old school mechanic, though, kind of same thing, not very familiar. And he's the one who kind of pushed me over the edge. I was like, well, if I'm going to really get into this, I want to do it myself. I want to have that pride of, hey, I built this car. Like, I didn't pay somebody to do it. I did it myself. So I started doing it, and a lot of common mistakes all males, I think, are guilty of it in their young teenage years is you get a sports car, you want it to be fast. So you start throwing a power adder, supercharger, nitrous, a turbo, and you don't ever do anything else to the car. So then it becomes super unmanageable and uncontrollable. Just because it looks fast and sounds fast doesn't mean it's fast, right? You can't put the power to the ground. Why have it? Mm-hmm. So I listened to that older generation. So I went in and I changed out the entire suspension, redid all the suspension to myself. Then they were like, well, you need to make sure your axles are strong enough to take that kind of torque and power. You need to make sure your drivetrain will hold it.
One thing leads to another, yeah.
So I went through, I rebuilt the rear end, the differential. I put new axles in it. I changed the drive shaft out. I changed transmission components. I actually wound up having to send my transmission out for a second time. First time I built it myself. Second time I had to send it out. It's a stage 3 Ben Calmer transmission now. It's still an MT82. Trying to keep the car as close to possible that it came stock with. So now it's rated. It can hold a lot more horsepower than your average transmission will hold.
Gotcha.
So I started doing that. Well, I was like, well, if I'm going to add a power adder, I got to beef up the motor. It's got to be able to withstand it. It's got to be able to survive and take a beating. So that was back when it was NA, before I added the Pro Charger, made it supercharged. So I rebuilt the motor. I replaced the pistons, I replaced the oil pump, the parts that give out the quickest.
Yeah.
Started really racing it. Went down to Mod Nationals in Florida, Branton, Florida. I ran a 9.4 1/4 with it, without a roll cage in the street class, and they were like, hey, guess what? You're barred from the drag strip till you get a roll cage. So I was like, that's awesome. That's like one of the biggest perks you can have. Like your
compliment they could give you, right?
Yes. And it's a full on street car. Like I didn't gut anything. There still has a rear seat, the heat, AC, the water reservoir for the windshield wipers. I mean, it's still got everything in it. So then that fueled the passion even more. And then I met a guy, Chris Merritt, and he ran Texas Mile, and he had a Boss 302. And so then I was like, oh, I have a goal. I want to be 260.8 miles per hour. That is the fastest set time by a Mustang in a mile, from a dead stop, from a dead standstill to drive through at a mile.
Street legal or just any Mustang?
Just any Mustang.
Okay.
Doesn't matter if it's street legal or not.
Okay.
So I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm not going to gut my car. I'm not going to take anything out. I'm going to make it and keep it as a true street legal car. So then I started getting into the serious horsepower ranges. So then I sent the motor off to NPR, had them build it. It's a full-on NPR built racing engine. It's got the Boss 302 Laguna Seca cylinder heads on it. They're all CNC imported for all our.
And I'm sure a lot of our lead heads know what you're talking about. But all this,
yeah.
I just know this mofo is fast. And
so yeah, I built it, and then I had a decision to make at that point. I was like, all right, I've gone about as fast as I can go NA, and I want to beat the Texas mile record, but I can't do it NA. I just can't. So I was like, I have to add power adder. So I was like, do I add nitrous? Do I add a turbo? Do I add do I add centrifugal a root style supercharger? It's the one that actually sits on top of the engine.
Yeah, the blower kind of thing.
Yeah, it replaces your intake.
Yeah.
Or do I go centrifugal? Well,
do it all, man. Do it all.
So I was looking at the best of all the worlds. I mean, if you have a turbo, you get turbo lag, so you don't get boost right away, right? If you have a root style blower, the one that we're talking about where it sticks up out of the hood, basically, you get boost right away, but it teeters out as you get higher in RPM.
Yeah.
It kind of maxes out.
You get more drag too, don't you?
Exactly. So the centrifugal supercharger works like a turbo, but it's still belt driven like a supercharger. And instead of getting boost right off the line where I didn't need it because I needed that traction, I could still build horsepower as I gained in RPM. So I went with the triple supercharger. Well, I ran Texas Mile a couple times, got 238 miles per hour. I was pushing just a little over 1,200, almost 1,300 to the wheels at that time. The car in the pictures that you're showing, it has a different setup. I have purposely not posted anything just because until I beat that record, I'm not going to. But I have time slips. If people really want to call me out on it, it's fine. I'll send them to you.
Yeah, you should do that. So what you're trying to reach speed-wise, what is your goal on this?
So I don't want to just beat the record and get like 261 or 260.9. I want there to be a little bit of a gap there. So I increased horsepower, and we're looking at closer to the 1,600 horsepower range. Now, last time I dynoed it, I was a few horsepower shy.
Yeah.
But with a little bit of tuning, I think I can get there. So my goal is to do about 266 to 268.
Wow.
So I intend to run Texas
ridiculously fast.
We'll see how it goes. But before I get to that point, it is a sketchy thing to do. And if you make a slight mistake, you can end your life very easily.
Oh, yeah.
So I have gotten to the point now where I'm going to put a roll cage in the car. My kid is now forward facing. So if I do drive it on the street, which for those that are listening, I don't do anything stupid with my kid in the car, I promise.
Just
the
me.
car never goes above 70 miles an hour. Just me.
Just me in the car. He'll do that.
But now that he's pretty much in a booster seat, I can still keep the car with all the internal stuff in it and have a roll cage, and it's easier to put him in and out of that booster seat.
Yeah.
I can work with that roll cage. So now I'm going to get a roll cage put in it.
So when you go and do these speed runs, you're changing out tires and other stuff too, because when you're just driving it on the street, you don't need
exactly. I have a whole other setup. Like my bumper, you'll notice that there's like little black inserts in that picture towards the bottom.
Yeah.
All that stuff gets pulled out. I have different accent pieces that I put on there for aerodynamics to keep the car on the ground. Your valve stem covers, believe it or not, come into play. That centrifugal force moving so fast, if something's off, it can throw your car off. It can slow you down. I have to use like a Bonneville salt flat tire compound. So the tires that you see on the picture right now, they will actually shred themselves apart before I even get closer to 200 miles an hour. So I have to run separate tires, separate wheels. I have to make sure my tire pressures are just right. Like I'm driving up to the line to do the run, and I'm making sure my stuff is being checked. So, yeah, I've got more pictures and stuff I need to add on there. I'm not a big social media.
I want to see it decked out with your racing stuff.
All right, I'll have to get it all set up.
It's not really racing. What do you call it when you're trying to break Is it still racing?
A speed record.
I mean, you're setting a speed record at that point. I mean, you can race it if you want. Once I put the roll cage in, I'm gonna probably start drag racing it in a quarter mile.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah, and it's still a stick shift car for those of you that.
You gonna race for pinks?
No, that'd be the one day that I lose a race or something bad happens, and I just don't want that juju on me. So
I hear you. So that's cool. I know we got a lot of lead heads. That's why I wanted you to tell a story that they're also motorheads. So they're into the cars, the muscle cars, the speed, that kind of stuff. So I thought that they would be interested in hearing that. And I'm interested in it too. It's just way over my head.
Yeah, I'll say, like, what was your experience when you did ride in it?
What was my experience? You scared the shit out of me. I was thinking, I'm glad I'm not in the front seat.
I kind of downplayed it a little bit for you guys, and
yeah. I mean, you didn't. You just kind of gave us a taste, a small sampling of.
Yeah, that was about a quarter.
And it was raining too, so you couldn't do a whole lot,
Yeah, the roads were wet. We kept it safe.
We did. It was fun. I mean, I didn't have any doubts that we were going to be fine. It's that thing goes fast so quick.
Yeah, it does.
Before you know it, you're just, you're at 100 and you're like, oh.
I think the coolest feature on the whole car is when it winds up with that centrifugal supercharger. It almost sounds like an old school P-51 diving in. It has that like same whistling sound.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can recall it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of neat that it's like, hey, an old school iconic Mustang airplane, and now I have a Mustang that sounds like that airplane.
That's kind of cool. I like that. You should maybe put that P-51 Mustang on there.
I thought about doing that with the blue and orange because now that's how everybody knows that car. Changing up the design from the stripes and going into that like airplane style layout.
That would be awesome.
Those same color schemes.
And get the bolts, like the old school big bolts. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. All right, so back to the questions. New guy questions.
I drive a lifted diesel truck.
Well, there you go. I was going to say, are you into the speed as well?
No, I wanted a motorcycle forever, but I kept going to motorcycle wrecks when I'd get close to buying one. So
I'm telling you, man, that would definitely change your mind in a heartbeat.
Yeah, no, I like being above everyone, driving the giant diesel pickup. And
I'm the same way. I like looking down on people and knowing that if this gets into an accident,
I win.
I win every time. Yeah.
Definitely looking up in the Mustang.
Well, you can just go under people in that. Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Be like Clark Griswold in Christmas Vacation. Where he gets underneath that semi.
Yep.
Another one of my favorite movies, and it's that time of year, so I'll be watching a ton of that.
I have not watched it this year, actually. Now I think about it, I gotta watch it.
We watched Home Alone the other night.
Dude, Die Hard is a traditional.
Well, yeah,
that's a tradition on Christmas Eve. You're watching Die
Hard.
And
if you don't think that's a Christmas movie, then you're a commie.
You're wrong, and fix yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, fix yourself now.
I have movies that are lined up that I'm gonna share with my kids. So like the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, and it's like. What is it? The Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, Jingle All the Way, I think is what it is. We got Turbo Man.
All the way. Oh my God, that's a horrible movie.
No, but I keep them.
Then watch Commando. Watch Commando instead. Oh, that's awesome. All right, next question is. So we did the. So what is your next? Gotta have, want to have. It's on your list. Whether it's a firearm or maybe a piece of kit or an accessory for your firearm. What's the next thing is like, I'm getting this as soon as I get the time or I got the money.
What it is. I know exactly what it is.
What is it?
I'm torn between I run a PBS 14 night vision and I really want duals, but
that's a good one
my PBS 14 works. So it's either duals like PBS 31s or DTMVGs.
Yeah.
Or a clip-on thermal.
Okay. And are you hunting with those?
Yes. So at my farm, we've got pigs and coyotes, and we have a huge pig problem. So
I can help you with that.
Hey, look.
I got bullets.
We tried. Yeah.
We tried last one over there.
But, yeah.
Well,
seeing at night, being able to buy a superpower is
I've got a new thermal that I haven't been able to take out because we can't use thermals hunting here in Tennessee. Yeah, really? I know.
What kind of communist nonsense is that?
I know. Yeah. I don't get it. It's supposed to be the patron state of shooting shit.
Yeah, right. I love going to Tennessee.
So I need to come down there, and we need to put that thermal. It's an AccuFire. It's pretty sweet.
Oh, hey, that's
the one we
That's
yeah.
the one I was tinkering with not so long ago.
Yeah,
Actually, bad for what it is.
you can't go wrong with it. And they're coming out with a newer version that's got more upgraded features on it. So that's coming.
Nice to know.
So what about you?
What's your
I want a dead air Sandman suppressor.
Nice.
That's
a good
that's
want.
probably the next one. That's the next most attainable.
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I'm with Nate on the
Okay,
whole night
fair.
vision. I would 100% like to get a set of
Some nods. Yeah, I'd love to get some. Yeah.
like some 31 alphas or something with white Foss because I've used them and I love them. But obtainable, definitely Sandman.
fair?
There you go. All right, so now let's flip it. Laws be damned, rules be damned. What would you own? Money be damned, laws be damned. They don't apply.
Old school Gatling gun, Civil War era.
Ah, hand cranked.
Hands down. I would love to have one of those. And 45
Oh yeah,
Colt or 45 long Colt.
that would be cool.
I think that's probably one of the neatest firearms ever invented.
That's an MP5 SD.
That's a good one.
So if you had all the money in the world
That's just the start.
and no rules, no laws applied to
we
you,
can play the if I win the lottery game, you
Oh,
know.
yeah.
But
that's what we're
I'm also
playing.
going-
That's what we're
Look,
playing.
I can't say like a fighter jet because I'd
Sure
kill
you can.
myself. I don't know how to fly.
But you've got the money to train somebody to train
Fair
you.
point. Fair point. But I'm bad on instant gratification. I want it and I want it now.
Yeah. Well,
And you get instant gratification with every turn.
Cheat, 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 cheat. Just that sound, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a popcorn machine.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next question is, do you believe in UFOs?
You know, I've been asked this question a lot. I'm kind of one of those people, I have to believe it to see it kind of things.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not dispelling the fact that there may or may not be UFOs because I don't know.
Yeah. And when I say UFOs, I'm talking about aliens.
Oh, no, I totally get what you're saying.
Okay. Sometimes, UFO, and I believe that there's things that people don't know what it is, but yeah.
Yeah, no, so yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Like I said, I have to see it to believe it kind of person, but I'm not going to sit there and say that there may or may not be something out there. I mean, if human life is the only intelligent life in this universe, I get the good Lord put us here, but there's infinite amounts of universes, so somewhere along the lines, there has to be something else.
Yeah, but have they been here? But have they been to Earth? Because I'm of the belief that I don't believe in visitation here, but I do believe that there is life other than on Earth.
I would agree with that.
I'm on that bandwagon. We're not the only thing in this entire existence of everything.
Can't be.
But I don't think there's.
Because I'm an odds guy. Odds are against that.
Yeah.
That there's not. Yeah.
I mean, they're finding traces of water on Mars and stuff. Like, let's be real.
What about Bigfoot?
No, Bigfoot's no. He's made up. Somebody would, with the technology we have today.
Yeah.
There'd be a trail cam photo.
Yeah.
But do you want to believe in Bigfoot?
Oh, I want
do.
Bigfoot to be real so bad.
And would you go on a Bigfoot hunt?
Every time I told Nate, every time we went in the woods, I was like, you see Bigfoot, you shoot his ass. I was like, we getting him. We're taking a picture. We're going to show that this guy's real.
That's the only way to prove it is to
I don't
bring in
care
a
if
dead
he's
one.
giving you an apple pie and being nice to you. Shoot him.
Shoot him. I love it. So I would go on a hunt, but I wouldn't go on it specifically to kill him. So trank or capture or
Yeah, would be nice.
something along those lines. But if I had to shoot the motherfucker, I would.
Exactly.
If he's throwing rocks at me and coming at me and he's going to rip me apart.
I feel like if you
He's a dead Wookiee.
He's either running away from you or running at you, so you're probably going to shoot.
Yeah. All right. So we did the bucket list. We did the UFOs. I had are you a Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars. Hands down Star Wars.
Star Wars?
Oh, yeah.
I like them both.
My mom would yell at me. My mom was a huge Star Trek fan.
That's not saying Star Trek isn't a good TV show or anything, but
now,
definitely Star Wars.
I haven't
But it's
seen
movies too. But I mean, they do movies.
I know.
Yeah.
I haven't
Star
seen
Wars
the
hasn't. Well, I take that back. Now they've done TV because the Mandalorian and all the stuff that they're doing on Disney. I guess
It's actually a pretty good show.
Never watched it.
was actually a good show. At least I think it was. I'm
throwing the guy who plays the Mandalorian on the Jackwagon train. Speaking of Jackwagons.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, because he was anti Rittenhouse, and he was saying that those guys that he shot were heroes. The pedophile and the domestic abuser, and he was.
On that note, guy shoots. What was his name? Guy on trial.
Rittenhouse.
Bicep.
Oh, the guy that he shot.
Yeah, convicted felon. Like, what are you doing with a handgun to begin with? If our gun control laws are so great, how did he have a handgun?
And why is he not on trial for that?
Exactly. How is he not on trial for?
And now that it's been proven that Rittenhouse was in self-defense, why aren't these people on trial for assaulting him?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Assault with a deadly weapon. Yeah.
That's a whole other Jaguar.
Even the skateboard guy. Yeah.
That little guy. Don't worry about that little guy.
Yeah.
All right. Last question, and then we're gonna get to listener questions. We need to. We've been talking.
Yeah.
We've been talking. Then we got to listener questions to do the giveaway. So, if you could spend the day at the range with anyone or any group of people, dead, alive, or fictional, who would it be?
Dead, live, or fictional?
Any one person or a group of people? Yeah.
Group of people. Dude, I'm gonna go with the Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, Wild Bill.
Okay.
Like, to see those guys shoot back in those days, like, you had to have some skill.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see that in person. And then if you go present day, unfortunately, he's not around anymore. He passed away. But Bob Munden was a phenomenal shooter. If you're familiar with Bob Munden, he could run a revolver gun. Like, man, he could run it. So it'd be kind of neat to see him shoot too.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Duke, man. I just want to go shoot with John Wayne.
John Wayne, okay. We've had that several times, yeah.
Look, McClintock is probably one of the, cornerstones of what I grew up watching. So, yeah, I can't help that one.
There you go. Yeah, it's a good one.
Can't fault you on that one. Very cool. All right, you guys did it. You made it through the new guy questions. You took them on. You knocked them out. Great question. Had some new answers that maybe we've never heard before. And you're the first ones to get the Star Wars, Star Trek question. So
I like it. Nice.
Congratulations. You're the second to get the UFO Bigfoot question. So that's some new ones I threw in there. I just wanted to spice it up a little bit.
Variety
is the spice of life. Am I still sharing my screen, or are you guys up here?
No, we're up.
Okay, let's go to listener questions now. We got a $250 Daniel Defense gift card to use at their store, their online store. Good for apparel only, because they don't sell firearms, obviously. So you guys pull up Instagram, pull up Facebook, and I want you to go through there. I want you to fill 3 or 4 of maybe some of the questions there you see that you'd like to field. Some that we haven't really talked about yet, maybe. A topic. So
there was one that I did want to touch on first and foremost, and that was from Flatline Fiber Company. He actually posted a really good, not just a what's your favorite AR question.
Yeah.
We already touched on did Daniel Defense start in a garage? Well, kind of, yeah. Garage door business.
In a garage and making garage doors, that's pretty awesome.
But the one he said under that it's actually a really good one. It said, what's been the largest speed bump on your way to growing such a successful business?
Mm-hmm.
And that was one thing we kind of went and we actually kind of did a round robin talk, with a lot of the guys on the team. Because there's, now this is just our perspective, right?
Sure, this isn't Marty's.
Marty might have a totally different answer. But the biggest thing we see...
That's what he gets for not being on the show. He could have answered this himself.
Yeah. The hardest part is that this entire industry is cyclical and volatile and heavily relies on a very small amount of vendors for things like raw materials. So something as simple as a world event or a political event or, just the season gets colder or a holiday comes up, this industry is not consistent. So when you order, especially for a company like us, like Jason touched on, some of our raw material is ordered over a year in advance. So if 2 months after that order is made, some horrendous, political event happens and everybody wants to buy guns, like this past 2 years, you can't keep up. We're a year away from getting steel, and gun sales are going crazy. Well, you're going to eat up all your inventory quick. And then on top of that, it's just, there's always that fear of the unknown, that fear of that regulatory arm of some government or politician coming down and saying that you don't get to do this anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. It's things you can't predict or plan for.
Yep. Now, we have an absolutely awesome team that do our procurement, that they were able to see some of the writing on the wall with a lot of this COVID craziness right when it was starting to kick off, and we're able to lessen that burden for us, but it's still tough.
So I think, and all in all, to really put a definitive answer on Fiberco's question is we've cultivated and hired intelligent people for these positions, and they can foresee some of these events happening. And instead of, taking the risk of, hey, let's not do it, it's that whole philosophy of, hey, we'd rather have it and not need it, and then need it and not have it kind of thing. They go out and they make sure that we have those reserves available in case we run into these shortage supplies. There's issues. I mean, do you have to, front the cost up front? Yeah, you do. It's just the nature of that game.
Yeah, it's a risk. It's the risk.
And that's our perspective. That's Jason and Nate's perspective. We don't get to see the giant grand scheme of how this operation runs, how Marty's brain's working with his, team one group of people. We just don't get to see that. So that's why we did that round robin, and that's kind of that round robin, and that's kind of the general answer everybody was able to give us, because we wanted to give it not just an answer from us, but from everyone that we can talk to here.
Very cool. All right, pick your next one.
This is one we get asked all the time, so I did want to hit on it before we timed out or anything. It was ESUM_87. But he said, why does Daniel Defense insist on putting the vertical foregrip all the way at the end of the rails? Seriously, has intrigued him, and he wants to know the benefits.
Okay.
So it's not a benefit, but there is actually a tangible reason, actually two of them, for why when you get a new Daniel Defense gun,
there you have one in here. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, ish. I'll grab this guy. So when you get a Daniel Defense rifle, it's going to come out of the box, and that vertical foregrip is all the way out at the front of this rail.
Yeah. It's not like it can't be moved.
Well, I'm little, and you can't do that.
Yeah.
So there's two reasons for why it comes out there all the way on the end. Number one, this rail gets that vertical foregrip put on it before the barrel is installed. And putting it all the way at the front allows our assembly team to make sure that that hardware is engaging properly, and you're not going to be missing hardware when you get it. Also, a part of that is, quite simply, the trays that these go in when they move around the facility. That puts them far enough out front that they can sit down in the slots. But it also encourages you as the end user to move this where it's actually comfortable for you. Because I'm not going to put my vertical foregrip where Jason's going to put his, and you're not going to put yours where I put mine. So if you've got to move it, you're going to put it to where you actually want it to be, instead of us just arbitrarily picking an M-lock slot to put that thing on. And if we left it loose in the box, it's going to be banging around and hitting your finish in Cerakote or anodization or something like that. So there's actually a reason that thing comes out, Stretch Armstrong style.
Gotcha.
But we do have a running joke. We have an engineer here who is about, I think, like 6'8". So every time we get that question, we always just want to send them a picture of him, be like, this is why we put him
This is why, yeah.
But no.
Well, I mean, it's consistency, too. You put it at the same place, people know it's there, and then they can move it when they need to, because everybody's different. Good question. All right, next question is going to come from Facebook. This is Rayo Shields. He says, are there plans to offer the Delta 5 rifle with something other than an AICS pattern magazine?
Not that I'm aware of right now. No, that's not to say that it's never going to happen. Again, we got a whole team of folks that do nothing but look at new product. Right now, that's not anything that I've been privy to. No, there's some other things happening in that Delta 5 platform on the flip side of that, where potential new calibers and configurations and things like that. So,
keep that in the back of your brain there.
Gotcha. Pick another one there, Jason. You need to pick one.
Oh, we're going off Nate's phone.
There,
so.
get in there.
Oh, okay. Get in there. Get you a handful of that.
Oh, do your airframe one.
Oh, yeah. We're going to do Corey _Brown _ MKTM4FN.
Okay.
He asked, Jason, what is your favorite air support? And he said, Nate, what do you think of John Lovell's ankle med kit? Daniel Defense, now that you're getting into the long-range precision game, have you considered 5R or left hand twist or a gain twist for your barrel? So first question, my favorite air support. Being part of military and special operation, everybody's thinking, oh, the A-10 Warhog. It is a phenomenal aircraft for air support. I've seen it run, and I've seen it used in live action. It is awesome. But however, in very quick, tight pinches, at least for us, we used to use UH-60s, so the Black Hawk helicopter, and we had a platform that would attach basically little stubby wings to it, and we would call them DAPs. They were direct action penetrators, and they were very nimble compared to the A-10, and they could get on site extremely fast, usually because they were loitering around anyways, so we could call them in, and they were pretty accurate with it. And they could carry, 30mm chain guns, Gatling guns, 2.75-inch rocket pods. Like, it had a plethora of assets that we could use. So it was by far my favorite. And with that being said, most of those birds came from the 160th SOAR, which is a special operations flying unit for the Army, if no one's familiar. And just like the little birds, the guys who fly those aircraft are the most senior. So when you call them, they're going to put those rounds or those rockets exactly where you need them, and it's going to keep you and your buddies alive. So that would have been my favorite aircraft platform, hands down, the UH-60 DAP.
Not the A-10 Warthog?
Well, I love the A-10 Warhog, but I'm not going to be that typical guy that says
it. I like your answer. That was a good answer. Did that answer all his questions?
No, he had a couple more.
He
was asking about John Lovell's ankle med kit. So,
Okay.
Kind of a daily carry on body, first line, med.
So before you go, shout out to John Lovell, 275 guy, RLTW, buddy.
Word. Jesus. But I think it's a great idea. There's two caveats to that. One, you actually have to wear it, and I can't pull it off. I'm a little guy. You'd look at me like I had a tumor growing out of the bottom of my leg. And two is you need to know how to use the kit that's in it. So if you don't have basic first aid or, combat lifesaver or first responder, if you don't understand basic bleeding control, I don't care how many tourniquets or how many trauma shears or, med patches that you've got on. If you don't know how to use any of that gear, it does you no good. So I'd say, I think if you know what you're doing and you're wanting a way to carry first line bleeding control on your body, it's an awesome idea. Otherwise, you can't. It's kind of like shooting. You can't throw money at it and for the best kit and expect it to make you better. That's all going to come from training. I carry first line med gear in my vehicle and at my desk, but I don't carry it on body right now because I'm not in environments where that would be necessary. So it's all situational.
What's
And
your?
then
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
He had one more question. He's talking about getting into the precision long range and have we considered 5R or left-hand twist or gain twist? For the left-hand twist rate, I not privy to any knowledge of we're going to go that way. But for like gain twist or 5R, we actually, when we hammer forge our barrels, we do special little things to them. So our rifling isn't just like normal rifling. There's a special way we make have the mandrels made to make the rifling that's in our barrels, to make them to give them the accuracy they have. Now, I'm not saying that accuracy is any better than 5R or whatever you're using, but it seems to be working for us, and that's what we're going to use. And that's the reason why we do not patent it, and it's still a trade secret for us. We'd rather our competitors spend millions of dollars trying to figure that out than, patent it, and then now everybody gets to know exactly how we do it. So that's why. Now, that's not to say in the future we may make barrels that have 5R or left twist rate or a gain twist. I don't know that. That's just something I'm not privy to.
All right, next question. Giddy up. What's the next weapon platform that DD is going to completely revolutionize? My money is on the 73 Winchester.
So, like we said, the funny answer is, we're working on a lot of stuff. But the legitimate answer is we do have a lot of really cool stuff coming. But Marty's vision is if it goes in, on, or is a gun, at a certain point, he wants to be able to make something for it. So, there's always going to be things in the works. Now, I don't think we're going to get in the lever gun game anytime soon. But
never say never.
Marlon does a pretty good job. So
there you go.
That makes it going too.
J. Edgar Paradox. How can I become a product tester for y'all?
This is probably one of the most frequently asked questions I think we always get. No offense to him at all. It truly depends. It really depends. We get a lot of influencers that ask, and we don't. Same way we get employees, like the people we have show our brand, is they're vetted. Like for kind of to deviate, but like if you take Ferrari, if either one of us three walked into a Ferrari dealership and wanted to buy a Ferrari that cost $1.5 million, and we had $3 million in a briefcase, they would basically tell you to F off, because they care about their brand and their name. They're not just going to sell their car to just regular Joe Schmo. It's just not how it works. So
now, the other part of that is our testing's all done here, but also the majority of what gets tested is at units that have 3-letter designations that we're not able to talk about. So there's a lot of stuff right now that's in very austere environments that we've made, but it doesn't say Daniel Defense anywhere on it. And they are actively testing new products. So as much as we want everybody to, if you buy our stuff.
So for the answer to his question is go to your local dealer and buy one.
Yep.
there you go.
I hate to say it, it's harsh, but unfortunately, that's just
go buy one, run it hard.
You guys are being too nice. He's a regular listener. He gets it. I think he knew what the answer was going to be. So,
hey, some folks don't, man. Like legitimately, we touched on it. When you call Daniel Defense, you're not going to get a robot or a phone tree. You're talking to me or Jason or Frank or one of the guys. So we deal with a lot of these questions. Hey, how about you send me a free hat? Hey, why don't you send me a free gun? I'm in college and I can't afford it. Can you send me a discount code? And it's not to sound callous, but we're not going to discount the brand by starting to cut the price and discounting the gun.
Yeah, so, I don't think anybody expects that either.
You'd be amazed.
Kenneth H. McGee, explain 60-degree bolt throw versus 90-degree, pros, cons of each, and why 60 seems to be the new standard. High level. And we're going to read one more, and it'll be it.
Yeah.
All right. I'll try and make it as simple as possible. So the reason why everybody's kind of going, or I'm not going to say kind of, are going to, I don't have very many guns that I know have a 90-degree bolt throw. I have an old school Mosin Nagant that has one. My 1903 Springfield, I have two. One's Remington and one's Springfield made. They have it. It's just one of those things where over time it's been innovated and been rebuilt. So they've realized that, hey, with a 60-degree throw, you can actually manipulate your bolt faster. It's more of a straight pullback. A lot of people aren't trying to pull up and all the way on the gun, so that's basically making you come off the gun. So you're inaccurate because you're trying to manipulate more of the gun from what you're doing. This is just more of a, I'm here, I can just flip it with my hand instead of I have to come all the way down here where it would be on a 90-degree. Here at 60, it's right here. A simple straight up. Gun has almost no movement. However, with a 90, I'm twisting the gun. So the 60 makes it a little more accurate, makes it faster, and that's what people want nowadays with guns. They want to be quick.
And with today's technology, they've been able to put these on simulators and computer programs, and been able to test it virtually for the ergonomics of that. Yeah. And the mechanics of that.
In reality, what it truly boils down to, it's personal preference. It really is. Like I said, for the market that we're hitting in the general market, they're going to use a 60-degree throw. It's just that's how it's going nowadays. But if you want a 90-degree throw, you can get like an old school Mauser action or something of that nature. It's just it's a preference thing at that point.
Yeah. All right, you guys pick one more.
All right.
If you see one on Instagram there or Facebook, I don't know if you're on Facebook or not. And then we're
I'm on Instagram right now, so I'm seeing where Bill said he's not coming, and I'm still mad at him.
Bill, what a jerk.
Bill Wagons.
All right. What's your favorite? This is a good one to end on. What's your favorite model and why?
Okay.
I'll keep it in the DD line. So, personally, Mark 18. I have a Mark 18 SBR that was my first DD product I bought long before I worked for this company. That gun's got 35,000 rounds on it right now, all suppressed, and it's still running like a sewing machine. So, if I'm leaving the house, odds are that thing's coming with. So that it's heavy. It's a little gassy because it's running a can, but I just love it. It's just works every time.
Like your guns, like you like your women, a little gassy, right?
Yeah, I mean, my wife's not listening yet, so we're fine.
So yeah, I kind of alluded to it earlier. M4A1 all day. I've cleared rooms with them. I've been in tight situations when it comes to vehicles. I trust it. Throughout my entire military career using an M4A1, I cannot honestly tell you of a malfunction that I had that wasn't magazine related. I really can't. And I'm not saying that because I work for DD or it's DD and this is what the podcast is about. I can't. I'm not saying that hasn't happened to other people. Everything fails at some point.
Sure.
But M4A1, same thing like Nate said. I know it. I trust it. I can make it go into those places that his Mark 18 does. I can make it go in places that the 16-inch barrel does. And that goes back to that whole, if you train with it and you know it, you can make it work. You can make it comfortable with.
Yeah.
So yeah, M4A1. To me, it's an all-around universal rifle. You can use it for a lot of different things.
Can't argue with that, and especially with the time you put in on it. You know, that's a bold statement there.
Yeah, I own like 4 or 5. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. All right, so go through there on Instagram, and they don't get extra for more questions. So, and I'm going to read the names off, and then I'm going to assign a number to them. So start off.
What are we just reading it? What do you want us to do? I got lost. Hold on.
So I want you to read the people who posted questions, their names.
Oh, all right.
And I'm going to assign a number to them, and then we're going to do a random number generator to pick the winner.
Are we including Fleo Bill in here?
No, he's not eligible. He's
all
not
right,
eligible.
We got Dragon Daddy.
Dragon Daddy. All right, he's number 1.
P-Man 301.
Okay, P-Man's number 2.
John Adams III.
He's number 3.
Brett Beddow.
Badal,
that one. There
number 4.
Flatline Fiber.
Flatline, he's eligible. Flatline Fiber will be number 5.
Sack Archer.
Sack Archer will be number 6.
What is it? ESOOM _87
is number 7.
Giddy Up.
Giddy Up is number 8.
J. Edgar Paradox.
Number 9.
Doc Dow 64
is 10.
Dragon Daddy.
Didn't you already read him? We already read him.
He's already on there. Okay.
Yep, he's
He
already
had 2
on.
questions. Does it get double entries?
Nope.
Corey Brown.
Corey Brown. All right, we're on what, number 11?
Mustang Perry.
I know Jason wants him to win. He's number 12.
I mean, we should have.
That eSIM's already been on there. And then, JUHIPK6. But that looks like it might be a spam.
That's spam. Yeah, he don't get it. He don't get an entry.
So that's the Instagram ones.
All right, so Facebook, we've got Ray O'Shields. So he's 13. Kenneth H. McGee, 14. Jerry Black, 15. And then we've got some repeats from Instagram that are on Facebook, so they don't get.
That's pretty good odds for a $250 DD gift
That's
card.
great odds, right? I tried to tell people.
I work at DD. They don't give us free stuff like that.
No.
So you leadheads should feel very privileged. All right, I'm going to share the screen here. And how many did I say? We got 15 total?
Mm-hmm.
1 in 15 chance. Let's share my screen here so they can see what I'm doing. No, I'm not doing any favorites here. Start sharing. So this is the same random number generator I used last time. Calculator.net. And I've got a lower limit and an upper limit, 1 to 15. That's how I'm supposed to do that, right?
I'll find out.
And I'm going to hit generate. Boom. Number 10. Doc Dow 64. Doc Dow 64 on Instagram. You are the winner. So shoot me an email, talkinglead@gmail.com. Tell me that you are the winner of the Daniel Defense $250 gift card. And shoot your contact info as well. I'm going to forward it to these guys. And they will let you know what you need to do to get the code or whatever they're going to give you for that code. So, very good. Congratulations, and thanks to all you lead heads that participated. As you can see, the odds are pretty good when people don't participate. Of all my listeners, I can't believe that's all the participation that we had there. Of course, you know how Instagram and Facebook is about shadow banning us from getting out to our target audience. So that's again why I try to do the live and get it out there. And should have told you guys to share it out there too. My bad.
I tried. I reposted it on my Instagram. My story. So.
I appreciate it. Did you have any questions on yours? We didn't.
No, I didn't get any questions.
Okay. All right.
I had like family and friends like, "Oh man, you're doing a podcast?" Like, yeah, podcast.
They're like, "What's a podcast?"
Yeah.
My grandmother actually did ask me what a podcast was. She's bless her heart. You know, she's close to 80 years old now. So.
Well, that's the first thing I said 10 years ago when I started this. You know, my buddy's like, "Hey, let's do a podcast." I'm like, "All right, what the hell's a podcast?" And you know, I didn't listen to my first podcast till about 3 or 4 years ago. I've been doing this for 10 years. I didn't listen to the first podcast until then. And I only listen to like comedy stuff or conspiracy theory stuff or UFO stuff. That's all I listen to anyway. I enjoy that kind of stuff.
That's it.
So, guys, that's it. You made it through the show. Thank you again. Jason, Nate, you guys are awesome. Appreciate you taking the time to be on and sharing the legication, the Daniel Defense legication with us.
That's it. Marty,
and you know, we didn't talk about the armorer's course. Sorry, I forgot about doing that. But you guys are going to be, Daniel Defense is going to be offering an armorer's course to the civilian population. Talk about that.
That's correct. Yeah. So before we get off here, I actually teach the armorer's course here at DD. Just one of my many jobs here, other than just shooting guns all day. But while COVID hit, it was just for MILE team members, so military law enforcement. But come 2020, we have 3 open enrolled classes. They're for 12 individuals. You'll find them on the retail store starting January. You can pay for it. All you have to do is come here. We provide the rifle for you to practice on. We provide tools and everything else. It's a 2-day event. You come here, you learn about DD guns, and then what we're trying to also do, may or may not happen just yet, is incorporate a range day in there as well. So it will be part of the second day. We got to work out some logistics with HR and everything. So for those that are listening, don't get your hopes up just yet, but keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah, there you go. And can he use that gift card on that?
Not
available yet?
Not yet.
No, that one's just going to be, so it'll be on DanielDefenseStore.com. So for legal reasons, the firearm sales and the soft goods and apparel have to be a separate site.
Separate sites, yeah.
So that gift card will be good for the apparel
Stupid
site.
legal.
Everybody else go check it out. Get you a DD hat, pullover.
Sweatshirts.
It's sweatshirt season, man.
It is. Y'all got some nice ones. Y'all got some nice sweatshirts.
And it's in black multicam. They got them in green and all kinds of other good
There
colors.
you go. And speaking of the season, Leadheads, go and support our sponsors. They've got good deals going on now, Black Friday deals, Mission First Tactical, the magazines, the AR accessories that they have there, and the dump trays, and then now they've got bags. I don't know if that they're available on the website. I think you get them at Academy. But use the code LEADHEAD. You're going to get 20% off if they don't have a deal already going. Use that code LEADHEAD, 20% off Mission First Tactical. Seal 1 for all your gun cleaning needs and protection. Seal 1 and done. Use the code LEADHEAD. You're going to get 25% off at seal1.com. Nemo Arms, one of your competitors. I don't know if they're a competitor or not, but they make some. Nemo makes some really good firearms.
I have a Nemo. I have a Nemo Exo Carbon.
There you go. Testament right there. You could have used the code TL10 and got 10% off that. TL10 at Nemo Arms. We're trying to get Bill King on. He's very busy. They're talking about expanding, like you guys are talking expanding as well. They're up there in Idaho, but check them out, Nemo Arms. TL10 gets 10% off their firearms, their cans, everything, anything on their website. Factory 47 for our AK Corner apparel, factory47.com with a K. Use the code LEADHEAD. You get 10% off there. Who else? 1776 United for our classic logo apparel and the Leadhead Brigade apparel. You go to you go to 1776united.com and you're going to use the code TALKINGLEAD and you get 20% off there. They had to mix it up and we didn't use Leadhead for them, but everybody else is pretty much Leadhead on the codes. And then Flatline Fiber Co., that Leadhead discount there, 10% off at Flatline Fiber Co., any of their products. OccamLube.com, Leadhead, 10% off at Occam Lube. And Kel-Tec doesn't have anything. I think they got some Black Friday sales and stuff going on their stuff. But again, Kel-Tec, been sponsors of the show for several years. Couldn't do this without them. Appreciate Chad and Matt and the guys over at Kel-Tec Weapons. Go to their website, that P50, the 5.7. Have you seen the 5.7 by 2.8 that they've got? It's just a beast, 50 rounds. Go check that out. And then, of course, you can go to their store. They've got apparel and some other cool stuff at their website. And like I said, I think they're running some Black Friday end-of-year specials there, too. And then, of course, Daniel Defense. Go to danieldefense.com. You guys have any Black Friday specials, end-of-year specials going on?
Not right now. We did an apparel special on the danieldefensestore.com side, but they should be doing something for the holiday season here pretty quick, and just keep an eye on it. But yeah, you can see everything we make on danieldefense.com.
Very cool. And then Leadheads, as always, you shoot me an email, talkingled@gmail.com. If you've got questions, comments, suggestions, if there's a certain topic you want us to talk about, a certain guest you want us to have on the show, or you just want to shoot the shit with me, you got just a question in general. I get those all the time. And I had one about a dog leash the other day. We had a guy on several years ago that this guy bought a dog leash and swears by it. And I can't remember who it is, but I've asked several people, but I'm still tracking that down for you, so don't give up. We'll figure it out. Definitely, we'll figure it out. He couldn't remember the episode either, but yeah, I hope everybody has a safe holiday. We got several more episodes coming up before Christmas, so stay tuned. We got more giveaways, and of course, don't forget about our awesome giveaway we're doing with the Galil. Go to my Instagram up in the bio, and Galil, Lockdown, Seal 1, Mission First Tactical, Flightline Fiber Co., and Enforce. All that awesome package that we put together for that Galil giveaway till the end of December. So make sure you go and register and enter for that. Nate?
I'm going. I got it.
Jason's done it already. He's in it.
I won't let you down, Mark.
He's in it to win it.
Give me some
there you go.
So that does it for another episode of the Talking Lead Podcast. Guys, again, I love hearing from you. Shoot me an email, talkingled@gmail.com. Until then, as always, keep your loved ones close.
Keep your firearms closer with a Daniel Defense M4A1.
Hey, look, as long as it's a DD, keep it real close.
It'll go click and bang when you need it to.
That's it.